No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And being the coolest podcast in the world, it was imperative that we lock in the Airsoft Patty interview.
What's going on, guys? Your boy Airsoft Fatty here, coming at you today.
Totally different style than what I was kind of expecting or accustomed to. Because normally you're just kind of like a gelatinous, random white guy with no shirt on. And today you come in, you got a crazy mohawk with the matching jersey. What's it actually say? Wake up 420.
Wake up filthy, my man. This is what we'll be wearing for our Rolling Loud performance coming up here. I'll try to get a good view for them.
Oh, yeah.
We got event coming up here Sunday. We got Rolling Loud. I do a lot of performances, and this time around we're going for Playboi Carti and Wake Up Filthy and all of them.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So you officially signed to Opium or no?
I don't have anything on paperwork, but you could pretty much say, yeah,
wait,
part of it.
You're out here for what exactly, besides just Rolling Loud?
Rolling Loud. Of course, I had to drop by and chill with you for a bit. And then, I've got a couple of friends out here. They all kind of work in the influencer industry that I'll go do a little work with them and then just kind of enjoy it. I love coming out here.
Okay, that's dope. Yeah. So we never had you on here before, so I want to get the whole story from the beginning and stuff just so that we can really fill in the blanks for everybody who, is curious or has spotted you online over the years and maybe isn't 100% tuned in. So tell me a little bit about where you were born and what your childhood was like.
So I grew up in a little town called Battle Creek, Michigan. You wouldn't really think much of it. You could probably drive through the whole town in about an hour tops.
Okay.
And I'm talking every freaking street, every subsection. It's one of those towns where it can't decide if it wants to be really hood or really suburban.
Okay.
And you can see it definitely when you go to the downtown area. It looks like a part of Detroit, especially when you get towards Post and Kellogg's. But if you go out towards the back area, like near the Lakeview area, you got these nice, 1.5-acre, 2-acre lawns with nice 2-story homes. But it's what I called home for a very long time in my life. If you really want to start out, grew up with a loving mother and father.
Battle Creek, was there an important battle there?
I actually don't know all about it more so, but I do know that there's a lot of history with Kellogg's and Post being there. So a lot of our breakfasts come out of Battle Creek.
Really?
Not only that, but Sojourner Truth, her grave is actually in Battle Creek as well.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's there's some history there. I didn't give a fuck enough really to look all the way into it. But...
Okay. The name Battle Creek originates from a skirmish that took place between a government land survey party and Native Americans in the early 19th century. The most well-known instance is associated with Battle Creek, Michigan, where, according to historical accounts, in 1823, a group of surveyors led by Colonel John Mullet encountered a group of Potawatomi people. The conflict ensued over land disputes, leading to the naming of the nearby creek as Battle Creek.
Wow, that's actually some pretty sick history right there. I know a lot of people in my stream just joke about it, being like, oh, there must be some huge battle. But I never really
Colonel John Mullet.
John Mullet.
And you just wonder, was he the first one who had the haircut?
Possibly, you never know.
Yeah.
That is a good question, though. When would that haircut have been first done?
I'm putting my money on John Mullet. Anyway, okay. So growing up out there was pretty whatever. What was your family life like and everything?
Family life, I had a really supportive mother and father. When I was really young, my father did sadly pass away.
Okay. At what age?
When I was 10.
10, okay.
10. A couple days before Christmas, and their wedding anniversary is actually when he passed.
How'd he pass?
Lung cancer.
Damn. So
you kind of... It hit him fucking fast. It was 20 days before that, he was just sitting at the table eating breakfast, getting ready to go out and do his drywall work, and the next thing you know, he's face down on the table, turning blue.
Wow.
My mom's telling me, yo, go take the golf cart out for a bit. I need to make sure your dad's all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so did that fuck you up real bad?
Honestly... Yes and no. I'd like to think that I've dealt with that trauma in a way that's helped me mature from it. But I'm not going to sit there and deny that it doesn't still hit me at times. But I like to focus more on the future these days, because to me, it's darker to look in the past than it is to look to the future.
Okay, for sure. So then your childhood in general, though, was it characterized by a lot of you doing crazy shit shirtless out in the yard like we've kind of seen in a lot of your content?
Yeah, a lot of my childhood was stuff like that for sure. A lot of going out, playing with toys. As a little kid, you go out there with the toy electric guns with your friends. Big fun time. You go out there with your bike speeding around. I had a little pocket rocket when I was like 5 that I wrecked because I decided I'm going to go run headfirst into this wall at full speed because I thought I was going to be like Danny Phantom and go right through it.
Really?
Yes.
And it just
that was my little kid mind. And
did you get a concussion or anything?
No, surprisingly, I walked away with just a bruise on my arm.
Oh, wow.
Literally just got up, walked away. I was like, that hurt. And my friend's like, dude, are you? I was like, yeah. That thing's like a little razor one, so it only went like 12, but still, fucking like that to a wall. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no, for sure. So then, what was your high school career like? You made it through high school?
I made it through high school. I got to graduate, but it was very rough. And I won't spend long on it because like it is one of those times in my life where I'm kind of like, I don't like looking back on it too much these days because it was a rougher time. But
what was rough about it though? You were getting bullied and shit, or
so my first high school, it was. The teachers were cool, right? There were teachers there I had a lot of respect for, my Japanese teacher, my theater teacher and such. But there were students there that made my life a living hell while there. And there came a situation that, it got pretty severe. And it got to a point where I said, I can't stay here anymore. It drove me to a very dark place. I said, I'm not going to lock myself into this dark place just to stay here for academics. And I decided to switch to the school I graduated from, which was the alternative school, which I had no problems with. So it's a very mixed bag for me. For the first half, it was kind of like the autistic kid who was in cool with some of the teachers, but most of the kids were kind of like, who the fuck's this guy? Right. They just don't fuck with you. Then you get over to the other high school, and it's like they don't fuck with you, but not because they don't respect you. It's just like everyone understands we're all here to get shit done. Let's get it done and go home.
When did you get diagnosed with autism?
Oh, way back when I was younger.
You're
like
a tiny
little
kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Autistic, ADD, and schizophrenic tendencies.
But it's a whole spectrum of autism, right? So like how did it affect you primarily?
I've never delved too much into learning more about the specifics on my diagnosis. I've always kind of focused on living life and finding ways to cope with those side effects, the things that come with having autism.
Okay.
For example, right?
Thank you.
A really good point is lighting and sound can get to me at times, right? And it's not that I don't enjoy beautiful lighting or loud sounds. I love fucking heavy metal. But like if I'm over in New York in the Big Apple late at night and I've been out there for 5, 6, 7 hours on my feet, there comes a point where my battery kind of just says, yeah, this is all way too fucking much. You need to get the fuck out of here, and puts me in panic mode. Okay. But I've come nowadays to learn how to cope with that. And it's a lot, I think it's to a lot of the friends that I have now. And it's been a long road.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, but when you say schizophrenia, like I have some friends that are schizophrenic and they seem a little bit more unhinged than you.
Yeah, schizophrenia it's kind of a wide spectrum. For me, it's I tend to hear a little bit of auditory hallucinations here and there, but it's never what you expect. It's usually I might hear my mother's voice call my name randomly just when I wake up, still groggy. It's like, oh, I'm back home. Oh, no, wait. Now you're suddenly awake. You remember, you're not home.
So you can have these like weird hallucinations and shit, but then you're still with it enough to sort of snap out of it and be able to like tell what's going on?
Yes, and if there's ever a hallucination, be it auditory or even visual, that I'm debating if this is real or if it's really getting to me, I have a trick that I do.
What's that?
I learned this from another guy who's a influencer. I can't remember the name of it because I watched it years ago, but this guy's also schizophrenic. And he told his viewers about this trick. He said, if you're ever going through a hallucination and you're really like, I don't know if that's there or not, pull your phone out and record it, because a hallucination does not show up on recordings. Visual hallucinations never show up in photos. Audio never gets captured from those hallucinations. And it's an easy way for you to kind of anchor yourself in reality. Am I hearing, my mother calling my name, or am I just going through a morning and that's something that's happening?
I feel like even thinking about that might kind of like break you out of the delusion, right?
It does. It does help. I'm not going to sit there and say it's perfect. There have been times where that technique has failed for me. But most of the time, again, I have friends that I'm like, okay, I can recognize this is not working. I'll just go chill in a call with some of my friends for a little bit and just calm down.
Right.
I'm high functioning. So there is a difference between someone who's severely schizophrenic, whose whole life is upturned by it, and then myself, who's more high functioning, who I'm not on any severe medicines for it, but I do have to do techniques and different therapeutic treatments in order to handle my side effects as much as I can.
Got it. Okay. So wait, so you left school because of all this bullying and all this other bullshit that was going on, and then you
No, so just to clarify, right? So the first high school I went to, we'll just abbreviate to LHS.
uh-huh.
I was dealing with some very, very extreme bullying, and when we're talking, it put me into some very dark moments.
Okay.
And we won't bring it up because like YouTube, you know, all these sites they don't like talking about it, but it's a very dark moment.
Don't hold back. We'll bleep if anything. But
Nah, I ain't gonna go over it because it ain't worth
Yeah,
dedicating more time to it. It's the past.
Sure. Yeah.
But I ended up leaving that school and transferring to the alternative.
Uh-huh.
And instead of sending me to the other regular high school in town, because there's only like 2 or 3 there, they send me to the one alternative school where you send the kids that are picking fights every day.
Okay.
And so I went there. And
Probably not any better.
Oh, way better. Are you kidding me? You would expect, you hear, oh yeah, this is the school they send the kids that get into fights are always cussing. I'm like, I was a good kid back then. I was like, oh, okay, I don't know if I want to. And then I get there and it's like everyone's like, nah, we don't fuck with each other. We don't pick a fight with each other. If we're gonna pick a fight, we're gonna kick the shit out of each other.
Uh-huh.
But like, we don't go out looking for a fight. We come here to get our fucking work done and go home because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
Okay.
We want to go the fuck home. We don't want to be here.
Okay.
And I love that school for it. That is my attitude with it. Like, if there's one bit of like advice I could give to any kid out there, it's never hate to learn.
Mm.
You can hate school all you want because the school is just a place to learn.
Yeah.
And what I feel damages our youth at times is these schools are presented as the only way to learn at times.
Right.
And so it causes people to hate learning in itself. They don't want to learn new things. They don't want to break out of their shell.
No.
I was affected by it for a little bit. I got to a point where I hated school every day. You kidding? I wanted to get up, just smoke a fucking ounce and never go to school. There was a chunk of time that I just didn't go. And it literally took my mother and my principal sitting me down like, you got to man up, man. You're a young man now. You're about to be 18. You can't fuck around your whole life.
Right.
And then at that point, you just kind of say, okay, yep, time to buckle up the bootstraps. Time to be a bit more responsible with your smoke and go do what you got to do.
Did you make serious friends while you were in this alternative school, or was it more just like you got an escape from all the bullshit you were dealing with?
I made a good handful of like school friends, like friends that are at school but I don't hang with outside. I only really had one friend that I hung out with outside of there. And, you know, even to date, after we had a little spat and separated, I still hope the best for him because he's a good guy. At the end of the day, he's trying to do his best in this world. Mike, if you're out there and you hear this, I hope you're doing good, bro. Seriously. I know, you know, our last time we talked wasn't the best. I was not in the best place, but I want you to know I still love you, bro, and I hope you're doing okay, and I hope your mother's fine too, man.
Oh, okay.
I'd say he's one of those people that I met in my life that like you just think about and you're like, even if we fought, like you're still praying they're doing good.
Right. Oh, that's good. Okay. So what do you do after high school?
After high school, I just
And when did you start YouTube?
I started YouTube way back in 2014.
Okay. Well, you're still in school, or
Yes, still in school. This would have been 2014. Would have been just getting out of 8th grade, getting into like freshman year. And at this time, I did YouTube as kind of an escape. Because at that time, my mother found out she had cancer.
Whoa.
So I was in a point in my life where we were fostering some kids and I was just getting into Airsoft, but it wasn't pulling me out of reality enough to help anchor myself in reality, if that makes sense. It wasn't pulling me away from the bad enough to make me acknowledge the good.
Right.
And so one day, one of the kids just literally said, Chris, why don't you make a YouTube channel? You like airsofting so much. You're going every freaking weekend. You're sleeping in your SUV overnight sometimes to do it.
Wait,
like,
what is airsofting exactly? You talking about like the little rifle things?
So airsofting has evolved from that, just being a little rifle to go shoot.
Because literally last weekend, I was staying in this like, you know, wooded like cabin spot, whatever, and that was one of the activities that they had for people was like you could go do the bow and arrow and then airsoft guns and shoot like a bunch of like metal stuff that they had set up to hit and everything like that. That was my first time doing that.
So they have competition shooting like that, like practical shooting, but what I did and what I'll be getting back into here in the summer,
because all the footage I watched of you, they didn't actually show you doing that, even though that is in your name.
Yeah, so no, a lot of my older videos are like that, where
Right,
there are a
your
lot of the
content, right.
gameplays, but a lot of the newer stuff these days, I got away from it for a while, so I was dealing with some things.
Uh,
But in reference to airsofting, imagine paintballing, right?
yeah.
But with airsoft guns, and there tends to be
Oh.
bigger fields. It tends to be a bit more.
Oh, so you're hunting each other down.
Pretty much.
Okay.
There's different game modes as well. Different fields you go to can run different game modes or different styles. So there's the pickup play events, which will be like your team death matches, capture the flags. Then you have your mill sims, which will do their best to take a giant plot of land, rebuild it into like they had Iron Claw, which I remember it was Gaza. They recreated Gaza, and they had 3 different factions. You had the news reporter faction, you had the civilians / the guerrilla / the good guys, and then you had the terrorists.
Wow.
And so like they do have these events where it gets more militaristic, and you get actual trained professionals going in and showing you this stuff. And I've never been to some of the more super official multi-day ones, but I've been to a Jet the Desert Fox one that was like a 1-day one. And that was just a blast, and it's a lot of fun. It's
But do you wear like armor and shit so that it doesn't hurt that bad?
So in airsofting, the minimum you need is a pair of full seal goggles that are shatter resistant and graded for airsofting, or paintball mask.
So some people just kind of raw dog it. They don't mind getting hit.
I've gone out there with no shirt on and just shorts.
Really?
And just had the goggles on and just ran out with my little M16 and just had fun.
You wear a cup?
No.
I don't want to get hit
I'm a
in the
man.
dick with that little pellet.
I'm a man. If I'm gonna get hit in the dick, I'm gonna fucking, you know what? Okay, fuck it. I got hit in the dick. Let's make it funny, so when people talk about it, at least I'm laughing.
How
not just
bad
sitting there crying?
does it hurt? Have you got shot in the arm with one of those pellets?
Yes, I've been
It hurts
shot
really
so
bad?
many. Dude, it hurts so fucking much. So
Really?
you wanna, the worst of it is when you do CQB gameplay, which is close quarters combat. That's where it gets bad, because you'll get people that'll light you up 140, 150 times before they finally stop shooting you and let you call the hit.
Oh, so I'm like not even thinking about the fact that they got like automatic rifles in the
No,
shit.
there's some people that are just like that. Like,
Oh, the thing I was using when I
was.
was doing it was like fully, you had to put the one little pellet in.
Oh, you were using more like a pellet gun than
Yeah,
an
this is like
airsoft.
the 1800s out here. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's probably something like an old Red Rider type. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, what we use are
Not much more.
plastic
Not much
BBs.
of an outdoorsman, to say the least.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not hard to understand. Pellet guns are going to be using the metal copper BBs.
Yeah.
The airsoft guns are using plastic 6mm, and they're bigger rounds.
Got it.
And let me tell you something, it does hurt. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 40 Mike. It is a non-lethal option for police force to use. That's like a grenade launcher that spits like 400 BBs out at 400 feet a second.
What?
It's like a flamethrower.
Whoa.
I've been on the receiving end of that, and let me tell you something, that ain't f***ing fun.
No, it sounds horrible.
It's like 400 bees just stinging into your ass, dude. I took, no joke. There's a video of it out there online on my channel. Look it up. I did it with a bodybuilder named Houston Jones. We took a bunch of different like non-lethals and explosives to the chest.
Really?
Yeah, it
Well,
was
I actually
fun.
really want to see that. That sounds crazy.
Oh yeah, take a watch sometime. We actually, the last one we did was a legitimate explosive. It wasn't a huge one, obviously. It's not fucking TNT, but it was like one of those riot control rounds that they'll, try to hit someone with a shield with it to kind of knock it from them, because there's enough bang to do that. But,
Okay.
there's a fireball. There's
Right.
a big old pop, and it hurt like a bitch.
What was getting into airsoft like kind of how you found your community and your identity and shit?
100%. First off, it was just becoming a player. Then when one of the kids we were fostering suggested that, and I got into making the videos, it all became kind of natural. It felt like an escape, like a true, this is where Christopher can be Christopher without a filter. And then I can also maintain myself in my personal life without feeling like I'm going crazy because of this new filter without a filter.
Right. And so what were your what were your early videos, and when did you start to have some kind of traction?
So to be quite honest, right, my early videos were a lot of like very badly done airsoft reviews.
Okay.
GoPro footage of airsofting, really like poorly budgeted, poorly shot, but funny fucking like LARPing style lightsaber dueling videos of my friends. It would have been probably around, I want to say 2017, 2018, where we first would have seen some traction. 2019 would have been around where we got our first 100K, which would have been around early 2019, I want to say, maybe late 2018. And then after around 2021, 2022, we blew up to around 450. And of course, now we're at a point we're at like 520,000 followers, nearly a 250,000 over on Instagram. We just got the Twitch back. We're nearly at 100,000 following there. So it's just, it's been a long journey.
iDubbbz reached out to you in what year?
That would have been if I'm, and again, it's been so long and I've been through so much. My memory is like, sometimes.
I feel that.
But when it comes to remembering exactly, it would have been around 2018, towards the end of that.
Okay. And
because I can remember he hit me up, and at first I didn't think it was him. So I went to one of his videos and just clicked the Instagram from there. It was the same one, and I was like, oh, this is actually real.
Yeah. But how, like, what were you doing at that time, and what was your understanding of why he wanted to do content with you?
So at the time, I was doing a lot of, vlogs, and the lightsaber stuff, primarily. I'd started not doing as much airsofting because I was focusing more on being on hand for my mother, who at the time was in very rough shape.
Right.
So I did my best to kind of abandon my airsofting for a while so I could be there. So a lot of it is the vlogging, it's the singing, it's the lightsabers. And the video that caught his attention, it seems, and this is the one that caught a lot of people's attention, is the one that I've labeled, "When lightsaber dueling goes horribly wrong, watch till the end." Because that right there has to be one of my funniest, like, you cannot script that if you wanted to. In the end, I ended up falling over what everyone, by the way, this is going to shock everyone here. I think this is the first time I've ever publicly addressed this. Everyone thinks it's the trash can I fell over or the vacuum cleaner. It's not. It's the bear statue. I broke the bear statue's left foot when I fell, and I hate the fact that I no longer own that house because I can't just go outside and bring that 50-pound statue in and show you guys. But yeah, I broke the foot off of the statue when I fell backwards, and then people ask, was it real that I shit myself at the end? That was real. I had a really bad, I had a, to quote an old meme that my Japanese teacher once showed us, I had a bad case of diarrhea.
I mean, it happens to the best of us, yeah.
No, it was not that, but that was the video that seemed to capture it. And it's something that you just can't script that. You can't plan for something like that.
Was there anybody else doing lightsaber battles in the way that you were doing them? Because when I watched you in some of these videos doing it, I'm just like, is this an existing subculture of people doing this to each other?
So there is.
Okay.
More of the more commonly known things are people that do it to a higher nth degree, to where they're going in with Photoshop and putting the special effects in, and they're scripting and choreographing everything. When I was doing it, I was like, okay, how do I want the story to look? Okay, I want this character by the end of this duel to be dead. I need this information exposed to the people. We need to figure out how to freely flow this in a normal battle style to get this story told. And 9 times out of 10, it didn't get told the way I was hoping to. But like 7 times out of 10, it came out way more funnier. So it was kind of like, okay, frustrating we could never get it the way I wanted to, because I always wanted to be like those big time guys, because they have these lightsaber choreographed championships, the LCCs.
Oh, really?
And people will literally make lightsaber duels and choreograph them from stuff I like to do. I wanted to do that, but I could never find the right person that could follow a script like that. The friends I had, we all have our own little mental concoctions, right? So for my buddy who was doing it a lot with me, he never really could sit down and just follow the script. So it was like, okay, hey, bud, here's the story we have to tell. Let's just go fucking whack each other with fucking lightsabers. And I'd always have 2 things, like, okay, if you win this duel, this is how this is going to end. If I win, this is how it's going to end. And from there, we just literally, like I said, we'd throw on the GoPros. We'd put the camera on the tripod, the phone. And then from there, we just duel.
But it seems like you're attracted to stuff that can cause, real damage and pain. Because, at one point when iDubbbz like sets up this battle between you and I forget his name, like a friend that you previously had, he sticks you with the lightsaber so bad that you spend like 5 minutes keeled over, like struggling to breathe.
Yeah. So that friend was my buddy Robert. And he has
Robert. That guy's a real sick. Huh?
He's a good kid. I love him to death, but I don't want him to take it the wrong way if he hears this. I love you to death.
Seems like the kind of person you would only hang out with if you had a very small pool of people that you could possibly hang out with.
Not really.
No?
He has his quirks.
Okay.
He needs guidance in his life, and he doesn't really I feel personally he does not have the right guidance in his life for him to be the best self he can be.
Your mom said that she wouldn't be surprised if he had killed someone.
I hate to admit it, but I agree with her in a way.
I was really fascinated when she said that. That made me look at him a lot different. I was trying to like sniff out the killer.
Don't get me wrong.
Is this guy a killer? Okay, because I know a lot of killers.
Yeah,
I hate to admit it, but I interview a lot of killers on a regular basis. Sometimes I have to act like I don't know that they've killed.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But the thing is, like,
talk to a killer,
I don't know if he's actually killed, but I wouldn't put it past him to be ignorant to cause a death.
Okay.
Not like he would purposely kill someone like you're thinking. I think if he's killed anyone, it would be like I was cleaning my granddaddy's gun and he walked up behind me and I actually pulled the trigger and didn't know the round was in there.
The thing is, like, I don't know if I see Robert as having the like capabilities of like getting away with it. I feel like he would just talk about it.
No, it's not even like talking about it. It's just he would have a guilty conscience about it. He doesn't.
Oh, he has a conscience.
Like, no, he does. He talks a lot about, being this top-notch warrior who could totally go kill. But like, if you threw a gun in his hand and said, you're going to go up to this random dude over here and you're going to blow his fucking brains out and I don't want you to fucking think about a single thing other than pulling that fucking trigger. He's going to look at you like, wait, are you fucking serious, right? Like, are you fucking really asking me to do this right now, buddy? He's not. He talks about it, but like when it comes down to the moment, he's not the type to be evil like that.
Okay. But so iDubbbz comes and does that documentary with you. How long does the filming actually last?
It was about 3-4 days-ish?
Okay.
The first day kind of got ate up. I had some friends at the time that were more like clout chasing homies.
Okay.
And
that was the funniest part. They
were all there.
He can't even interview you because they're just like the weirdest, most autistic dudes ever. Bro. And they're just like just asking him questions about other YouTubers and shit. That was funny.
No, what's fucking hilarious is
because I didn't see this when it came out. I just seen it like over the last couple of weeks.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the week before I had a conversation with those guys. I said, yes, he's coming out here. I know you guys are huge fans. Do not fawn over this dude. This is not some hooker on the street who sells herself for $20.
Yeah.
Do not fawn over this dude. And yet, Aaron comes in with a fucking giant thing of hot dogs. Yeah. And then he's got the fucking, what was it, Fago. And then you got the Werners. And it's like, you're going too far, man. What the fuck?
Were you ever Juggalo?
Not like a full on, but I enjoy the music and like I can't lie. If I was invited to a party, I probably wouldn't mind going partying for a bit.
Okay.
But like I'm not someone that'll be like, let's put the face paint on, let's go fucking be a hardcore part of it,
I don't think most of the Juggalos wear face paint with any kind of regularity. It's more just like a ceremony from time to time.
When they're actually at their events.
Okay, so during that time filming for the documentary with iDubbbz, though, what were your feelings by the end of it? Did you feel like it was a fair portrayal, or were you happy with like the footage that he got? And then like obviously it comes out and it becomes this huge splash.
Yeah.
But there are some narratives that he's kind of painting about you that, like in modern YouTube times, it feels a little different than what might be accepted or whatever these days, because it feels like that template of like, let's go to a really weird guy's area and just see his really weird life. Like it hits a little bit different now, but like were you happy with it at the time, aside from obviously it being super viral and it changing your life?
So funnily enough, right? So there's 3 different ways over the years that I've come to feel about it. There's my original feeling. There was the feeling I had after I had dealt with the situation where it kind of made me kind of falsely angry with him and hate him for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's my more recent, more matured, okay, we've looked at everything. We've experienced everything. Let's be grateful for what this has done for us, because this has been an amazing journey so far.
Right.
So my original feeling was I loved it. I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is so awesome. This big-ass YouTuber just came to my house, walked through this shit. And like...
It's like golden ticket. It's like winning 100%. The lottery for YouTube.
100%. And then there was a argument around 2020, 2021. With a friend of mine that really made me think about it. He's like, he's making all these jokes about you. He's using all these innuendos and implying shit with things he's saying. Dude, you got to look at this shit. And for a while, I was like giving into that paranoia of like, oh yeah, look at the way he's walking and talking right here. Look at the way he looks at me here.
Because he does kind of have a little bit of that like pompous hipster
100%.
Type vibe where it's like he's kind of like laughing at you and pointing. Like it's kind of like punching down. And I'm 100%. Not totally like putting him on the chopping block, because I get it. Like, my content is not that different a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting here having a fucking conversation with you too. But every time I do an interview where the audience can kind of tell that I'm low key sort of like clowning the dude or like kind of looking down on him, it definitely hits a certain way, because they don't like seeing somebody who's kind of being elitist or whatever. And
100%.
at that time in that video, it felt like he was kind of doing that without reservation in a way, you know?
No, 100%. And even with my matured view now, like, I can see it, sure. But at the same time, I've come to appreciate what it's done for me more than be upset with what harm it has done, which is very little at this point. Like, you gotta be serious. Any harm it's done.
Yeah, the benefit was
like,
all
that's on me. No, 100%. It's benefits for me.
And you could feel the way if he had taken footage of you and completely manipulated it to make you seem like you were not who you were. But I feel like the documentary was mostly, it was pretty accurate, right?
No, 100%. That's something that really hit me when he stopped doing the documentaries. He did me, he did Dax Flame.
Right.
And then it seemed like he stopped. That was a really, like, he did really good on that stuff. Like, as much as I look back on that footage and I'm hurt by some of it by the way I used to be, I still think to myself, like, wow, I wish Ian would have continued this, because he really does come to me and presents me in a way that's not super biased and still entertains the audience.
Definitely. No, I still don't even know who that Dax Flame dude is. I just see him in thumbnails now and then. I got to watch the video that he did with him too. Okay. So, so it comes out and it just totally sends your shit into another stratosphere, I'm assuming. Like, all of a sudden you're making just way more money on YouTube, way more subscribers.
So I fucked up big time with the money side of things. Okay. So when I originally started doing YouTube, the whole thing for monetization was 100,000 subscribers. We all can remember those days.
Wait, you had to have 100 to monetize?
It was like way back in the day, like 2014, 2015, if you remember right.
You needed 100K to monetize?
It was something like that. Yeah,
really?
It was like 100K for the partner program or whatever.
What?
It wasn't even like they had direct monetization at the time like that.
100K is so hard. Oh, okay. It's that long ago.
Yes,
wow.
I'm one of the fucking, like, I'm not the first wave OG, but I'm like one of the second, third waivers of like PewDiePie era type people.
I first started making money on YouTube in 2012. And I definitely didn't have 100,000 subscribers.
Because when I signed up, it said that. That was so weird.
Interesting.
Either way, but I waited till I had the 100,000 to fucking monetize. I shot myself in the foot.
Oh, wow.
Either way, I'll admit when I have wrong information. I might be wrong. That's something that I'll admit, right?
Right.
We can all be wrong. But like, I fucked myself over because I still held myself to that 100,000 without a doubt.
Wow. Okay.
And I waited, and I looked at the analytics daily, was kicking myself in the, because the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, gotta get 100K. You gotta stick to your morals. You gotta sit there and really take this on like you did back when you started. Kicking myself in the, around $27,000 I missed out on an ad revenue because I did that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys something. If you get an opportunity thrown at you like this,
monetize your channel.
Monetize the out of it. If you love doing something, do not do that shit for free. Set it up as soon as you can to make your own cash for it, even if it just pays for itself.
But so that obviously like takes you into another stratosphere. What do you start getting more opportunities from that aside from just doing your own channel?
So nothing besides doing the First Grader Clashes national anthem. Nothing directly came from the Full Force documentary in regards of like sponsorships or large sums of cash type stuff. But what did happen is my name got out there. I started producing more content. I got more ballsy. I started doing cannabis reviews for a while on a separate channel that blew up fairly quick. That being said, for a while I was getting, sponsorships from different cannabis brands, sponsorships from just different brands in general. And for a while it was going really well. And then I messed up, and that was during a time when I was going through kind of it was drama, and it's not stuff I like to go over anymore because at this point it's all in the fucking past and it's behind me. But there was drama around 2021 to 2022 and beginning of 2023 where it was a pretty bad situation where I burned a lot of bridges that I had. Definitely some friends that I found out weren't my real friends that I had to cut away, and found out about friends that I should have been listening to right along that I wasn't entirely at the time. And now that I look back at it, I feel bad, and I wish I could apologize to them in the best way I could, but the only way I could think to do that now is just keep doing better.
So you were tripping and basically got into confrontations or issues with a bunch of people you were close with at the time?
Arguments, it was a long laundry list of shit. There was a lot of personal stuff I was going through, and it was getting taken out on people around me in the audience because I wasn't very mature or emotionally mature at that time. I was going through a bunch of shit, dealing with a bunch of shit. And now that I'm out of it, I realize it. And I kind of look back at myself like, damn, I wish I could go back and just slap myself back to reality. Like, dude, yes, you're going through this shit. Fucking wake up. You can't stop now.
Right.
You got people that are relying on you to be entertaining. Fucking bring them some joy, damn it.
Right. No, definitely. It was almost kind of weird being around you out in the lobby area because you weren't really talking that much, and that was one thing I expected from the iDubbbz documentary is like this narrative of like he never shuts up.
Yeah, no. So I've definitely matured a lot over the years.
Right.
I try to nowadays. I try to kind of pick when I'm talking, when I'm not. I've come to know now that there are times where taking the silent route is the better option at the end of the day. And so nowadays, even though I still struggle with it at times, I do try to kind of pick and choose what conversations I have, what words I say.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, especially in the modern era, what you say and what you do is so like, you really can't escape it. Yeah. I can't escape the fact that I used to live the way I did, but I can learn from it, grow from it, and well, look at me now. I'm a giant ass fucking sunflower and I'm about to grow a whole nother patch right next to me.
I mean, okay, I'm around people from time to time who just never shut the fuck up, and it's always kind of shocking to me because it'll be like, bro, you work at Del Taco and you never shut the fuck up. And meanwhile, I feel like I have like a lot of like very interesting life experiences. Like I could be, you want to talk about porn? Okay, I got a story for every day of the week. But it's like, but I know people who they got nothing going on and they never shut the fuck up. And I'm always kind of thinking about that. Like, I need to be more like this. Like, I need to just be rambling at the mouth. Sometimes on a podcast, I don't necessarily feel like I have that much to say. I'm like, oh, you need to have lower standards for what is worth talking about. You need to be willing to just blabber on about anything.
Another good trick for you. Find the long way to say what you want to say. If you really want to draw it out and try to bring more time to it, find another way to say it, because that's what scientists do.
Like at some point in my life, I just kind of got used to the idea. I got it into my head. Nobody wants to hear your crazy sex stories. Nobody wants to hear your crazy drug stories. Because that's a lot of what I got, from my life.
But that can't be every last thing.
No, but it's a lot. And it's just kind of like, at a certain point, it's kind of like, I don't know. How many war stories do people really want to hear,
Well, maybe you turn them into lessons for people.
That's true.
That's what you got to do. There's a lot of people doing that, like Jelly Roll, who's just, taking their experience and trying to help push people forward.
True. He's also a gifted musician.
Oh, very gifted, my man.
Oh, you love him?
Oh, love Jelly Roll. Are you kidding me?
That's dope. You remember
There's a bunch of different artists I love, man.
His rap days?
Yes, I do, man. I remember listening to it every day, man.
Yeah.
Bottle and Mary Jane, all that stuff, man.
Yeah. Pop another pill. You remember that shit? That was like, that's my main recollection of him is him and Lil White. Just him, and he's just wearing a wife beater, and he's just the fattest fucking pillhead you ever seen, and he's just out there.
And now he's changed.
And now he's headlining at Stagecoach and shit. And I'm just like,
no joke.
I can't believe I've even lived this reality where a dude could do that and then make it to the top of a different genre of music.
To be honest, I like to see my story a lot like his in a way, where there was some sort of like, not in the sense of we went in the same type of scenario. It's more so we experienced a major change in our life at a time where we making big mistakes. He was making different mistakes than myself, but we both were making huge mistakes, and we found a way to bounce back from that and do something better with it. Like currently, man, I'm investing all my time into performances and shows. We got Rolling Loud coming up here on Sunday, which is going to be absolutely amazing.
I can't wait to see you on stage with Carti.
It's going to be awesome, bro. It's going to be awesome.
Are you serious? I mean, he does have a lot of weird looking people.
Think about it, man. Wake Up Filthy. Wake Up Filthy, the guy who helps him produce this stuff and is a musician himself.
I know Filthy. I interviewed Filthy in 2016.
Yeah, dude.
Working on Dying.
I'm working with him too.
His whole little collective. Wait, you're tapped in with Filthy? Like that?
I'm in opiate, dude. I'm in opium.
Opium, not opiate.
I know, I said
You're
opiate.
on opiates.
You'd think so, but nah, I just smoke weed. I just smoke a bunch of weed. Nah, I don't know why. I think I'm just like talking fast, but like, opium.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, but
no, I'm locked in with Ken Carlson, people like that. We've been doing a bunch of this stuff. Yes.
Got it. Nah, for sure. What about Burberry Perry?
You know, I'd like to do some stuff with him at some point, but nothing yet.
Okay, for sure. How did you feel about the video, that iDubbbz thing, kind of painting you as like a liar? That he seemed like he wasn't very confident in your version of reality. That might have stung a little, right? Or was that a wake up call of like, oh, I do have a problem?
You know, it was pseudo okay. It stings, but it's also kind of a way to reflect on myself.
Okay.
I know it's more of a reflection piece. I like to look at it as, you know, it's a way for me to go, okay, here was me pretty much at my lowest when I am literally scooping dirt into my mouth for dinner. You need to remember, you don't want to get back to this. You don't want to fuck yourself over this.
Did you ever really eat dirt for dinner?
No, dear God,
not for like food. Okay, that was
not for like
insane.
food, but as a little kid, I did it just to fucking do it.
I can't even imagine what's in dirt.
Oh, it's not.
It's probably better just not to eat dirt.
Dude, the people that have that my strange addiction, I could never get behind the people that eat sand and dirt.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like Anakin says, I don't like sand. It's very rough and coarse.
When I was in high school, I ate paper pretty consistently, though.
Really? Yeah. Paper in high school?
Well, okay, junior high. When I was like 12, 13, I would chew some paper sometimes. You know what got me into it was, you know, you eat like a lollipop and then it's got the paper stick.
Don't tell me
and then
you
all
were
of a sudden I'm
chewing
kind
on
of
that.
like chewing on that. I'm kind of like eating that paper. And then all of a sudden I'm like, you know, I'm gonna eat this piece of paper. I'm gonna eat
that's
a,
like
eat
a,
a piece
that's
of
like
this.
a case of pica, my friend. That's like a case of straight up pica.
What is pica?
It's like a neurological disease that causes people to eat things that are not food.
Oh, okay.
So like that My Strange Addiction show where they're like, this lady likes to eat bricks, this person likes to eat glass, or like the dude that has a world record for eating an entire plane. It's all pretty much cases of pica.
I feel like the guy who ate the plane, like, in order to eat a plane, you basically have to like take every part of the plane and then cut it down into such tiny pieces that you could eat it, right?
Well, I mean, I can imagine they probably had it sliced down, or he had to be there with like a blowtorch to cut the pieces off.
Because
like,
you could turn the whole plane into like ball bearings that you could just eat, and like, who cares? It's just going to come out in your shit, right?
God, when you put it like that, yeah, how would he have gone about that? Now I'm curious.
And is that really like eating a plane if you just turn the plane into like, you know, metal powder, which that sounds like a horrible thing to ingest, but I mean,
no,
you
that
could
sounds
do it.
God awful. Could you imagine all that cutting your fucking internal organs?
Yeah,
like, that's gonna
but if
happen.
you ground it down enough, then it could be like,
I mean,
you're
even
just doing a
metal powder
protein
could do
shake with a little bit of metal in it. No,
I mean, even metal powders are bad to inhale, dude. That shit gets into your lungs and fucking cut your lungs up, even tiny little shrapnel.
Even when I like walk by a construction site now and I like feel that fucking weird like sawdust type shit going into my lungs, I'm just like, ugh, like these dudes are just doing this day in, day out. Like,
but they're also wearing like respirators, some of them, filters.
I feel like a lot of people just don't give a fuck. I don't know.
I mean, there's some people that have been in the job so long, they're just like, whatever, if I die, that's a perk.
Definitely. But did that cause you to stop lying, or did you end up kind of watching that and being like, fuck, like I am kind of not being true to myself?
There was the way I look at it is, okay, I am telling the truth here, but I'm not doing it in the way that it should be, or it shouldn't be said like this because it makes it seem so much different than it actually is.
Right.
Like those codes back in the garage. At the end of the day, I don't know what those were specifically. But from what I understand from my mother's stories, we do have people in the family who did work for NASA, who did work on coding the moon landing rocket.
Okay.
So from what I know, it could have been those were it, but I wasn't smart enough or cognitive enough at the time to look through that shit. I was too busy focused on being some dumbass autistic dude that with lightsabers and made dumb little videos.
I mean, my girl will get so frustrated with me sometimes because I will retell a story that she knows that she was there for, and I'll just change some details to make the story better. Like,
and then she's just like, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, and she'll point it out, and I'll be like, yes, obviously I know that, but like I just simplified the story because I'm a public I talk for a living, so it's like I could tell you a story and I don't want it to take 10 minutes. I want it to take 2 minutes, so I'm gonna fucking simplify the story down a lot, which to me that's okay. And like comedians exaggerate the fuck out of stuff. Comedians completely lie, and it's okay. If it's done by a comedian, it's okay. They just change this entire story up. I respect it. I don't really.
100%.
I try not
you gotta
to
respect
lie,
people
but
that can do it funnily, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
But
So
no, I've definitely grown and matured a lot since those days, for damn sure. I've now chosen to respect the idea of choose when you speak and not to waste your breath.
Got it. No, definitely. So okay. So at one point do you kind of get frustrated with the fact that iDubbbz isn't going to continue to have you in his content or something, and then you kind of speak out against him, and this becomes this whole little narrative for a period of time there?
Nah, so it wasn't that he wasn't including me and stuff. It's at the time I was going through, like I said, a lot of personal shit. There was
Right.
people that I took that personal shit out on. He's one of the guys that I lost my shit on, burned a bridge with. What had happened was when a situation that happened that truly caused the whole, like, fuck you, I don't want to talk to you anymore type of thing was, and this is from my understanding, would have been that we were behind on some bills. It was at a time I was living with a friend. We were living in a trailer. We were about to literally get evicted because we couldn't get caught up. And I had found it weird at the time. I found out this friend was probably using that money for other things because I was fucking on time putting the money in his hand type shit. So I was always kind of confused as to why we were so low, but yet this dude's walking around with fucking chains and rings and shit like that.
So you think you're stealing from you?
It's possible, but I don't want to say it fully because, you know, at this point it's just something that's crossed my mind, but it's like not something I'm confident in just saying. Because
This
at this
was
point it is
just a friend? This wasn't like the manager guy that you had
this
for a
wasn't
period of time?
manager. No, this
Okay.
was someone different.
Okay.
The manager situation would have been during 2019,
Okay.
very end of that December to around 2022, around the end of that when I finally fully got out of that situation.
Okay.
But no,
Did
these days.
did you and iDubbbz like formally make up before you ended up doing the
Nah,
national anthem at his boxing match?
No, so that blow up happened a few months after the boxing match.
Oh, okay.
So that was after, and at that time I had people in my ear saying, you should be angry that he's not giving you more money. He made so much cash off that video. And, you know, at one point he did help us randomly when we were behind, months beforehand, threw us a couple hundred to help us out. But, you know, that second time, what had really caused that big rift was when I called him and I said, hey, Ian, you know, I don't want to just ask you for money here. Can you give me some tips on, you know, how to get better at getting sponsorships for the channel? I don't want to give up doing this. I love what I'm doing, but I'm currently in a situation now where it's getting harder and harder to do this. And he said, this is what I misinterpreted from him and took way more personally than I should have. It's when he said, sometimes you have to cut the bleeding limb off to survive. And at first I was like, well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? He goes, you're probably just going to have to get a regular job. And at that point, we ended up just hanging up. And I took that so fucking personally. I took that as him going, fuck you, you're not useful to me anymore. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. Nowadays I look at it and it's like, well, nah, in a way he was trying to tell me about a reliable way to make sure I was making my money that I needed,
Right.
while also being able to work somewhat on my channel. Now, did I listen? Hell no. I was taking that shit more personally than I should have.
Right.
I was an idiot, still kind of an idiot, still learning. I still fuck up at times. But yeah, in that specific scenario, the fuck you type of thing was so big that I don't know if there ever is going to be another conversation between me and him, just because I was so sour for so long and talked so vocally so much shit. And I look back at it, I want to cuss my younger self out. Like, dude, he gave you legitimately decent advice. You just didn't like it because he wasn't telling you what you wanted to fucking hear.
Have you ended up having jobs over the years since then?
Nothing like on books type stuff, but I've done stuff like mowed lawns.
Right.
I've, you know, done some basic things here and there, but nothing super like on books, on paper that I can go and produce to a possible hirer to get myself hired.
Right.
Basically, if I were to go into the workforce now, I'm entering at the same advantage position as someone just coming out of high school who had just a very basic high school career.
Right. Definitely.
So, and I look at that as a man and I just say, okay, you made your bed. If it gets to that point, you're just going to have to sleep in it and find a way to get comfy. And you better get comfy real quick because it's going to be a long night's rest.
Yeah, because I mean, the idea of being a YouTuber is very enchanting to a lot of people. Like, you know, this is who I am now. Like, I make money off of just making videos and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And a lot of times that is like a very difficult retreat for a lot of people to be like,
it becomes like a horse blinder on a race.
Yeah,
you get too hyper focused and you forget that it's probably a good idea to have skill sets outside of this that you can market.
Yeah, and being a YouTuber for a lot of people is not a 40 hours a week job or whatever, and they could realistically have a regular job and still work on their stuff. But I mean, I feel like you're not the kind of person that you're not in that state of mind, because you just literally make you go through periods where you make videos like constantly, right? But then it feels like sometimes you'll take time away.
Yeah, there are times that I have to slow down because I get a little too motivated, put too much out. But at the end of the day, I told myself I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop this. I've been given an amazing opportunity. There's people that are behind me right now that believe in me. The last thing I'm going to do is throw this away. And even if I'm the last person of the crew still pedaling this bike, this big ass tandem bike that just is moving forward, I will continue to pedal.
What stuff really works on your channel at this point? What still seems like it moves the needle?
Vlogs, the cooking videos, music.
Because you're very focused on the cooking stuff now, right?
We did do a lot of cooking recently, but we're trying to find that balance between vlogging and doing cooking videos. We know a lot of the older fans really enjoy the cooking video side of things. We know that there are fans that also enjoy when I go live doing my workouts every day, and they get to be there for that. There's also people out there who just enjoy the vlogs and seeing some of the background stuff. And we are trying to get back into some of our more lore lightsaber type stuff. Currently, we're trying to get another video out, hopefully in the next few weeks. Another one of those lightsaber videos that we've had kind of on the burner, but that's something that has slowed down, but not in a sense that we're like, we don't want to do it. It's slowed down in the sense of we need to get the right people together to film it, because otherwise it just comes out looking bad, and you don't want it to just look bad.
Okay. I
don't want to regress into just two fat people in the backyard with lightsabers. I want there to be something there for the fans. I want there to be a thing for them to be excited for, and that's why I've been excited about growing lately, is just maturing enough to be able to notice where I'm fucking up and notice where I need to lift myself up, and then having people there for when I don't notice it, who are willing to say, yo, bro, love you, but you're fucking up here.
Okay. Like
one of my friends, I fucked off on working out for a while, and he sat me down one day, he goes, Chris, you're starting to grow back up. Those jeans you had on the other day, they were nice and loose now. They're fitting you pretty snug. And at first I was kind of like, no, fuck you. And he's like, no, I'm saying this as your friend. I know you want to be on this journey. Don't fuck your journey up. And after that, I was like, oh no, yeah, he's right. I'm totally fucking up right now. I just need to fucking
How much weight have you actually lost?
So if we're going based on my heaviest from around 2016-ish.
What, like
511.
511, wow.
I am down to 275 as of today.
Wow, congrats. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's been about 2 weeks now, but yeah, been around 275 now.
240 pounds, no joke.
No joke dropped. And I've got a goal now towards 250. And then once I hit 250, that ain't where I'm stopping. 200.
Respect. I obviously working on a much smaller scale than you, but when I got married 2 years ago, I was 215, and like a couple weeks ago I got on the scale and saw 240 staring back at me, and I was just like, bro, I cannot do this. So I've been like super hardcore working out, eating super healthy, so I'm with you.
No, what's crazy to me, right, as I look at you and you're saying, oh yeah, I saw that 240, I'm like, there's no fucking way you're 240.
Really? Yeah, I'm 6'3", so it kind of spreads it out nicely.
That kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah. I still would look at you and say maybe 170, 180 max, really.
See, I'll see a guy who's 6'3" and realize like that they're like 170 pounds, and I'll be like, how the fuck am I 50 pounds heavier than you? But I feel like I'm just kind of like big boned and shit too, and
it's
I have like a decent amount of muscle, so it's like I feel like I don't have to be that fat to like be pretty heavy.
Yeah, after all, muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah, I don't know, but what has really worked for you in terms of the weight loss journey?
Surprisingly enough, it's re-getting my diet into a more normal diet. Eating more vegetables, eating more fresh fruits, eating more meats.
Yeah.
For a very long time, I was stuck on pastas and simple shit that you could just throw together within a few minutes and eat, Yeah. Nowadays, I'm getting my hands on, steaks and turkeys, hams, getting my hands on lettuce, tomatoes, and onions, and making soups. I'm making sandwiches that are so much healthier than the past 5 years of my life.
Were you a fast food addict at a certain point, or?
Yes, there was a chunk of time back in 2017 to 2019, beginning of that, where every day I was getting fast food for my meals.
Yeah.
And it was mainly because of school, because my school was down the road from a fucking McDonald's. So it was easy to go up in the morning, you get the 2-for-1 breakfast burritos, you get a large hot cocoa, you go in for class, smoked out as shit. And you go out at lunch, you get $2 hamburgers, just ketchup, you get a small fry to put on top of those burgers, and you get yourself a milkshake, you come back, you do your shit.
I mean, realistically, in most parts of America, it's difficult as and expensive as shit if you want to eat healthy. Now, you can eat pretty healthy if you're making the food yourself in your home, and it's not that prohibitively expensive. But, I mean, if you're a guy who's working construction 10 hours out of the day or whatever, I mean, good fucking luck. You're going to have to either, like, spend a ton of time preparing food to be able to bring with you, or you just hit McDonald's and you spend $5 and you get enough food to keep you full for 6 hours, you know?
I mean, either that or get used to eating those nicer meals, but get used to simpler stuff. Maybe you're not cooking a fucking full-on steak for a lunch that you're going to take with you, but you take 10 minutes, grill up a ham and cheese sandwich and throw it in your lunchbox. Okay, you're getting your dairy, you're getting your protein, you're getting your carbs to help you get through the day. You throw in a handful of blueberries to get you your vitamins that you need. Maybe you take a handful of baby carrots. It doesn't take you long to live this kind of healthy style. It's just about, you know, people who hear, I want this healthy lifestyle, they want the stuff that looks tasty with the health style. They want the nice Wagyu steaks. They want the nice butter and honey glazed fucking asparagus they see in all the books. But they don't realize you can do this with the most simplest of ingredients and the most simplest of shit you have at home.
Yeah, no, that's real shit. What about like physically? You have like any kind of exercise routine or?
I've got a daily routine. Currently for this week, since I'm not home with my elliptical, it's kind of hard to do. So I'll probably be doing a lot of stairs and walking. But daily I go live and I do these days it's 7 miles. But typically if I'm doing a light day, I'll do 5. But it's 5 miles. Then it's minimum 5 miles, 5 sets of 10 hammer lifts. And they could be hammer lifts, or they could be the, you know, where they hold them in place above their heads for 10 seconds. But it's, you know, 10 of those along with 10 squats. Now I'm on currently the 7-5-5, 7 miles, 5 sets of lifts, 5 sets of squats. Soon that's going to become 7-7-7. Then that's going to become 10-7-7. Then it's going to become 10-10-10. Once that 10-10-10, at that point I've hit my goal for my working out every single day. That is my minimum I want to hit. It's going to be 100 hammer lifts, 100 squats, 10 miles.
That's pretty good. How long does all that take you?
So on average, it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to get the 7 miles done.
Okay.
My fast, like if I push myself to my absolute limit, go the fastest I can get a mile in under 3 minutes 30. And
nice.
I've done that live on stream where I pushed myself to do it and I've pulled a muscle doing it. But yeah, I've recently hit underneath 3 minutes 30, which is absolutely amazing.
Fire. Oh yeah. One thing that didn't get addressed in any of the documentaries and everything I've seen is, what is the love life of one Airsoft Patty like? Like, I wonder, is there anything going on? You keep it kind of low key, or is it kind of dry out here?
I will tell you my love life using a very classic movie reference if you're into spaghetti westerns.
Sure. Am I supposed to picture like tumbleweed rolling by? Okay.
Dry. There's been a few lovers, of course, but you know, I'm too much on the road. I'm too much a highway man to stay locked down at a house with someone. You know what I'm saying?
Are you always on the move?
Pretty much these days, yes.
Really?
I'm pretty much always trying to get stuff. Well, you got to think, right? I'm out here in Cali for the week to get this done. I'll be going back, and within just a couple weeks after that, we got some more stuff to do. I could imagine on 420, we got some event that's going to want us coming out there, because every year we go do something big like that. So it's like, yeah, at least every other month we are doing something, either, you know, within the local kind of area, being within state or just outside of the state, or just traveling like this. We're going 12, 13-hour flight across the U.S.
Are you always on the hunt, though? You got Tinder and shit?
No. Oh, no, I don't waste my time hunting.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
If it comes to you, you'll accept it.
So, no, there was a chunk of time, right, where I was using Tinder and Facebook dating and shit like that, right? I stopped probably around 2023, really hardcore looking. because I decided to set a thing for myself that I would not take dating serious again until I was below 250. Because at that point, okay, now I'm back to where I was back when I was in a 4-year relationship. This is when I was at my happiest. Now I can start working on making myself presentable to a woman.
The 4-year relationship was before the iDubbbz documentary?
Yes.
Okay.
Long before that.
Okay.
But I've only ever had one serious relationship. I had one short relationship, and from there I've just lived life. I haven't really worried about it. I don't go chasing tail because I don't need to.
I'm surprised you don't
I'm a hot fucking case, okay? I got tail coming to me, and I still deny it.
You deny it?
Yeah. I'm too focused on my fucking grind, man. It's fun.
Like you can still
still sure, but I ain't looking to fuck anymore. I'm looking to find the one of these days. The woman that, like, takes it from fucking to lovemaking.
You're a true romantic.
I'm what they call an old soul stuck in a new body.
Okay. So are you planning on having kids at any point in your life?
I don't know.
Big decision.
It's a big decision, but it's also, I've got a lot more maturing to do as a person. I can understand that currently in my current mental state, in my current physical state, in my current just state in general, I would not be a very successful father. I'd be a loving father. I'd care for my kid. No cap. I'd fucking be there.
No cap.
But, you know, I would not be able to give them a lot of the wisdom that a kid needs in the world today. I could not impart that knowledge. And the last thing I want to do personally is bring a kid into this world when I'm not ready for a kid. And when I say ready, I mean ready on all fucking cylinders. I'm talking, I've got my cribs already ready to go. I've got my money ready to go. I've got my job going good. Simple as that. It's like Steve Harvey says, guys look to make a very prolonged happiness. We don't look for short term. So we try to make it long term. And for me, I don't want to have a kid until I can assure that I'm going to have long term happiness with them.
Right. No, definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that, like, having a kid, you realize, like, there's a lot of things that are not ideal with me that it's like, holy shit, how am I raising a kid when I don't even really 100% know how to, like, I'll give you an example. Every time I go into the dentist my entire life, they always tell me you brush too hard and it's pushing your gums up. Your gums are receding because you brush too hard. You need to brush lighter.
What?
I take my kid to the fucking dentist. You know what they're saying?
Brush harder.
You brush too hard. Like, because I'm brushing her teeth and I'm brushing her teeth too hard. So I'm pushing her gums up a little bit, I guess, when I'm brushing her teeth. So I'm thinking this thing that dentists have been telling me for like 30 years, I am now basically like cursing my kid to have to deal with this as well because I don't know how to brush teeth properly after all these years.
I feel like people who do it hard, though, you got to feel a certain level of like doing it that hard, make sure it's clean, right?
Yeah,
like you don't just do it hard because of nothing.
Not accurate. I think, and even especially
no, it's not accurate, but it's probably the way you were thinking when you were doing it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah, you do something hard if you want to do it at all. Yeah.
Exactly. When you're scrubbing the floor and you want to get a stain out, how do you fucking scrub it? You scrub it fucking hard. They tell you to put elbow grease into it.
Thank you.
You want your teeth to be clean, you put some elbow grease into it. But like you're noticing now, you kind of need to relearn, okay, that's not how you do this.
And especially with the electric toothbrush.
Oh,
I guess you're supposed to just put it on the teeth and just kind of hold it there. You're not supposed to like scrub back and forth so much like the way you do with a regular toothbrush.
No, apparently you're really supposed to be ginger with it and fucking take it slow. But I like to use the old school way because, look.
Let's swab the deck.
Yeah, just straight up. There's nothing better than just done. Boom.
Love a clean mouth. So whatever the dentist tells me, really, I should just be listening to them. But I don't know.
Listen to them, but always be skeptical. That's what I always say. This is something I always say is always ask questions. Always be willing to, because the day that you're at a situation and they don't want you asking questions, that's when you need to get the fuck out.
Right.
Because at that point, okay, this isn't, if I'm coming to you with a question about something, there's probably a reason I'm asking you. You should probably acknowledge there's a reason. Even if you don't want to answer it, be like, hey, that's a decent question, sure, but this isn't the time.
Right.
Don't just sit there and blow it off. If they're just going to blow your question off, never answer it, or even act like they don't want to answer it, well, then 9 times out of 10, that's someone that's got a knife ready for your back.
Definitely. Do you feel like you have to like create some kind of goal that is going to help you get past this like 20, 30 pounds that you need to lose to get where you want to be at?
Yeah, I've already got those goals set. 250, of course, is when I'm going to take dating a little bit more serious. But one of the big ones is at 200 pounds. I'm planning to get myself a custom-made Stetson hat, and I'm going to get a cosplayer to make me a custom set of Saiyan armor in the style of Vegeta. This is nerdy, but like I've always wanted this as a kid, just to have, not even just to wear every day, but to have a set of Saiyan armor with a Stetson cowboy hat in the same color scheme.
Wow.
Like, and that's going to be when I hit 200 pounds, which is, still probably a year in the future. I've hit a plateau at the moment for the past 2 weeks where I'm not breaking 270.
Right.
And I'm trying to. So I'm upping my miles, I'm upping my lifts, I'm upping squats.
I would be so happy for you to see you at 200. 200 is crazy low.
If I could hit 200, that'd be the same weight I was at 13 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. When I ballooned up to 500, it was fast. It was like 14. I ballooned up to about 4. 15. I was at 5. 16. I was at 511. And I was like, because I had told my mother straight up, like, and this is a true story. And I wish she were here to tell this because I'm serious. I never wanted to get that big, but I never, if this makes sense, of course, but I never wanted to get that big, but I didn't give a f enough to not let myself get that big. If that makes any fucking sense at all.
No, I feel it. I mean, if you want to not be a huge, gigantic fat ass, you really basically have to like dedicate yourself to.
You gotta put in the work. You gotta I had to change my view of food.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I looked at food as comfort.
Yeah.
And nowadays I look at food and I'm just like, there might be moments that I want to have something comforting, but I don't want as much as I used to.
Right.
Because I used to have like a fucking 2-gallon R2D2 like popcorn bucket bowl, right? And that would be my cereal bowl for cereal and ice cream and mac and cheese and shit. And it would be filled to the fucking brim.
Yeah.
At my heaviest. And I'd like, there comes a time where you're sitting there scooping this in your fucking mouth and you look down and you just think to yourself, Jesus Christ, this looks disgusting.
Yeah. No, it's still in my head. Like when I have a really long work day or whatever, I do 3 interviews back to back. My head is like, you deserve chocolate.
Yes.
You should eat ice cream. You should at least get a fucking couple cookies from 7-Eleven or something. But now, like in recent weeks where I've been like really going hardcore with it, it's kind of like a very different feeling to be like, do the long work day and then be like, okay, buddy, you're getting a protein shake and then you're going to brush your teeth and you're not going to
get a better option even.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I still let myself have those sweets, right? But I try to be mindful and healthier about it, right? So if I'm having chocolate, I'm more so looking for dark or baker's chocolate, which is a lot healthier of an option. I'm not drinking sodas anymore. I rarely do that. I'll admit, right? I have a Sprite here and there, but that's maybe once every 2 months, maybe every 3.
Right. Part of the problem for me is that my wife can have chocolate and crackers and cookies and all this shit in the house, not feel that tempted by it, and then she could take the chocolate bar and break off like a couple pieces and
just
eat
enjoy it. And it's so
I don't
hard.
get it. For me,
it's
if
so
there's a pint of ice
hard.
cream, I am eating the pint of ice cream.
No, 100%. And it's so hard to break that fucking thought pattern.
Very
but
difficult.
honestly, I watched an Elvis documentary. And one of the things they said struck me, and I kind of got my own version of it now. In the film, they said that Elvis used to be backstage, and the way he would hype himself up to get on stage was to make himself feel so sick of being so scared to go on stage that going on stage was the less painful, less terrifying thing to do.
Okay.
So for me, the way I say it with weight loss, you just got to get to a point where you're sitting there eating and looking at yourself, and you just got to say, my God, it's more painful and waste of a time to sit here and just get fat than it is to put the work in, feel the pain, and just get this over with. Because at this point, I'm just dying.
Yeah. No, totally. Okay, what your relationship with weed? Where's that at right now? And is that in stark contrast to where it was for a while, or?
So it's coming back to what it originally was, which was a treatment option for me.
Okay.
Because I was originally prescribed medical marijuana back in the day when I first turned 18. I've got it for diabetic neuropathy pains and anxiety. Like I go through anxiety, so I smoke.
You found that it always helped? Because I know a lot of people
100%.
can't smoke weed because of the anxiety.
Well, I mean, on paper, right, I've been smoking since 18, but I have been smoking since the day before I turned 11, April 2nd, 2009.
Wow.
I'll never forget it.
OG.
No, it was just a couple of months after my father passed. One of my friends was like, dude, you haven't been yourself. You're not enjoying the dirt bike rides and the trails. You're not having fun anymore. I'm worried about you. And this is one of my friends who was really, in middle school, he was like at the level of a college student when it came to his wisdom. So he's the kind of guy where he would tell you, okay, if I ask you to do something, and you absolutely fucking hate it, or you regret listening to me, you could punch me in the face and I'll walk away and never say a word to you again.
Wow.
And he had that happen twice where he fucked up. He gave someone some bad advice and fucked up. So he got punched and he walked away. And he honored his word that he never reached back out to them.
Uh-huh.
He said to me, look, I know you're a straight edge kid. You don't want to get in trouble. You're worried about your mother and stuff, but I'm worried about you. Take this. It is a joint. It is purple kush. I stole this from my father. Smoke this, please. I'm worried about you. And so we sat in my back garage, and I remember the date because it's literally the day before I turned 11 years old. The day! I decided, fuck it. Took a few hits, didn't feel much at first. He looked at me and said, so, you want to punch me yet? I said, no, I'll give it a few more minutes. Smoked the whole joint. Of course, hour later, we walk out the garage. I'm feeling happier than hell.
Yeah, that was when I first smoked weed. It was kind of like that. I didn't really feel that high. I didn't get it. And then when I think about it now, I'm like, no, you're high as fuck.
No, 100%. I was stoned. Yeah. No, 100%. But like you go inside and then like your mother has cooked a huge fucking meal because that's something she used to do back in the day was she would make just a huge spread for dinner. And so you come inside and you see like hamburger helper, garlic bread. There's some homemade grape juice just sitting there on the table. You can't help but like, damn, okay, yeah, I'm high because I want to eat all this.
You know what I did the first time I got high is I went into the garage on the way home and I took WD-40 and I sprayed a huge cloud of it and just kind of like walked through it and like I didn't want my parents to smell the weed on me. And
so you just wanted to smell like WD-40?
Yeah, and I go inside and my mom goes, what the fuck is that smell? You smell like WD-40. I'm like, oh, like, but I mean, it was kind of like reasonable because I was riding bikes and stuff. I probably used that as the excuse, but when I think about it now, I mean, that's kind of like a signature smell. We could all, if we smelled WD-40 right now, we'd all be like, oh yeah.
Yep, that's
I know that smell.
We all know that
smell.
That's
a 14-year-old who just smoked weed and doused himself in WD-40. Yeah.
Oh man, no, that's some of the crazier shit I've ever heard. Like,
I don't know.
The craziest thing I think I've ever done to hide my weed, which I had a mother who like, when she found out, she wasn't the type to be like, don't smoke this. I fucking hate you for doing this type of shit. She was more of a, you're going to do this responsibly. I'm going to help you get it from dispensaries and people who are reputable. Yeah. And you're going to do this either at home or if you're going to go to someone else's places, it's going to be a place where you can stay a night or two. So if you get too high or you even get high at all, you don't be stupid enough to drive home.
Right.
Just call me and let me know where you are. Tell me if you guys plan to go out and do anything. So if something happens, I can take care of you.
Fast forward to 2025, we be getting high and driving all the time.
Oh my God.
Let's just be real.
Nah, I was doing that even back then, man. I was in a fucking green SUV. I had an old 98 Explorer. Yeah. And me and my friends would go on the back roads and just blow 100, 120 through there, hitting little bumps. They're catching some air, fucking just smoking.
Yeah, no, definitely. But do you, what's the dark side of weed for you? Is there any extent to which it kind of has a bad impact on your life?
Yes. So there was a chunk of time in the early 2020s where I started smoking not as a way to deal with the effects of my disabilities that I'm prescribed for it, but I was using it as an escape from just reality itself. And for a while, I got really lazy. That's where a lot of the pauses were coming from back in the day where I wasn't uploading as much or going live as frequently as I should have. I was just so stoned and strung out that I was just all day.
Right.
And it would have been towards the end of 2022 where I finally had a day where I woke up from a massive, like I decided that I was going to do 50,000 milligrams of THC syrup because I wanted to set the world. At the time, I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm just a fucking stoner at this point.
Wait,
I want to set the world record.
50,000 milligrams?
50,000, yes. I went to a guy who makes the stuff.
To put that in perspective,
to make it.
Yeah, for the people at home, like the most lethal weed candy bar that you're going to get from a dispensary or whatever might be like 500 or 1,000.
No, I think there's a law where like, especially here in Cali, it's like 1,000 is the max.
Yeah.
In Michigan, it's like 300, 400.
Right. So how are you gonna get 50,000? And
you
how
have
much
to
did
know
you
the
actually...
guy.
Oh,
you have to know the guy. You have to be willing to help them out with a lot to get that done. It ain't just about giving them money. Okay. Because at that point, they're putting a lot of flour into that, or even concentrate if they got that, which is that's worth even more fucking money for anyone that even has an idea about weed pricing.
Wait, so how much is did you actually consume?
The whole thing.
50,000.
I did the whole 50,000. I was high as shit for a week. I was live for 2 days straight in my room, laying on an airbed, fucking just fried out of my mind.
2 weeks.
No, for the 2 days, excuse me.
2 days.
No, I was high for a week. It was 2 days, though. I was just high out of my mind live, just on this air mattress, like, oh, man, you guys want to fuck with some Beyblades?
It was.
And then I fucking stumble over to try to get the Beyblades. And it was, when I was coming down, I kind of realized, okay, you just technically did the most milligrams anyone's done. Look at how fucking stupid you look. Watch your live stream. Yeah, this isn't, you don't want to be this guy. You want to be the guy that helps to educate people on this stuff. You want to show them the good medicine, not how to be a jackass.
Holy shit. Yeah, because I mean, like my first time eating a weed cookie back in the day, and a lot of people have had this experience. You got like almost a whole day worth of like barely being able to get out of bed after that. Nowadays, probably not so bad, but I also haven't really done serious amounts of edibles in a long time.
No. Don't ever do 50,000. Let me tell you something. I'm kid you not, the whole fucking week, right? First 2 days, I'm live. I'm just in the bed. The next 4 or 5. I'm just zombily going through the house. And every step feels like I'm falling into a well. Yeah. I took a shower and I literally like freaked out at one point. And my buddy who I was living with literally came out. It's like, dude, you okay? I was like, yeah. He said, I literally said that the ocean fell on top of me when I just had the fucking light shower on, like not even fully on.
I mean, I can't lie. Like, as you're saying this, it really kind of sounds like something I want to do. But as it sounds, it's like kind of like, that kind of sounds sick.
Don't get me wrong, right? The high is absolutely blissful as hell, but it's like,
you didn't get sick at any point?
No, surprisingly.
That is surprising.
Surprisingly, right? I'm like a very high functioning alcoholic when it comes to weed. I can do weed pretty heavily and just walk off like no problem, but that was probably one of the few times where I got so high that there was just no walking that off.
Do you feel like it impacted like your brain?
Oh, 1,000% it has to have done something. I'm not one of those people that sits here and is like, weed's a miracle drug, right? There's still a lot of research that needs to go into it before we understand every singular risk that comes with utilizing it as an alternative.
I always think that though, like if I hadn't been smoking weed for the last 20 years, how much better functioning would my brain be? Because it feels fine.
Exactly.
But I also don't know what it would have been like otherwise.
Well, 100%. I think the one thing that I can say with confidence is me smoking as often as I was. And mind you, right, for a few months I did it behind my mom's back. And my mother realized I was the kind of kid where if I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. If I told my mother, hey, Mom, I'm going to go out Saturday night, middle of the night. I'm going to fire that mini bike up and I'm going to go on a trail ride in the middle of nowhere. And you're not going to know for the next 5 hours if I'm going to get killed by an animal out here.
Right.
And she got to a point where she's like, okay, fine. Make sure your phone location data's on. Make sure I know where the fuck you're heading to. She got to a point where it was like, yes, I'm scolding him for it. Yes, I'm making sure he knows this is wrong, but I'm also telling him if you're going to fucking do this like an idiot, at least be responsible so that if you fuck up, it only affects you and not anyone else around you.
Right.
And that was her big thing for me was like, never drive stoned. If you're going to drink, never drive drunk. Because she told me straight up and she really enforced it to me. It's one thing if you get stoned, you're at home, and you fuck up, messing with one of your electronics and you zap yourself to death. That just affects you.
That's pretty unlikely compared to a drunk driving.
Unlikely, but hear me out, right? Hear me out, right? This is just alliteration and everything else. But the idea is, right, is she would much rather, if I'm going to be stupid in a way that only hurts myself and not others. Don't drink and drive, because if you're too drunk, you're going to fucking hit someone, you're going to kill someone, and you could walk away just fine. Yeah. And now you're going to live with the rest of that guilt, knowing that you really couldn't have done shit about it because you were at a point, because you let yourself get to that point.
You're probably going to prison too.
100%. Yeah. People who do that should. Yeah. I don't think it should be some sort of never-ending stay, but I think they should go in for rehabilitation, because at that point, you need to be told, like, yeah, what you've gotten yourself so far in your addiction, you got someone who wasn't even involved in your shit killed. Yeah. And so my mother really put that into me and put me in that responsible mindset of, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going out. Like, obviously as a kid, I went and drove the fuck out those back roads stoned to shit. Yeah. I didn't drink. I was one of those kids that did not drink until I was like 22, 23. Yeah. But, straight up, like I didn't follow that rule.
And when I really think about how lucky you or I have been, because like I have a memory from 2015 where I was driving drunk and on ecstasy on New Year's Eve, and my girlfriend at the time was like shoveling cocaine up my nose off a key while I'm driving.
What the fuck?
And I really think about that, I'm like how did you not catch some fucking insane charge or never mind cause a crazy accident?
How did you not fucking OD? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's
wild.
not the type of person you want in your life, bro. That's someone that's there to be a detriment to you. That's not there to be a friend.
No, she was cool. I was really dragging her down, to be totally honest.
I mean, she's shoveling fucking coke in your nose as you're driving. That sounds
she was
more
doing
like she was
that at
dragging
my
you down,
instruction,
brother.
for sure.
Your instruction? Well, I mean, still, she should have been like, nah, you ain't doing that. We're getting home. You're already drunk. You're already on ecstasy.
See, my girl now is
She's
like
compliant.
that. Now I don't do things because I know, like, I did an interview with a rapper recently, and they didn't like really push for it, but at one point they were like, you gotta snort a perk with me today. And I was like, I took it as a challenge, like, you know, like, you won't fight me, you know? And I'm just thinking, like, I want to do it. I know it's gonna feel good, but I'm like, if I do that and there's so much as a clip of it, my girl's gonna fucking kill me.
No, 100%.
I'm not snorting a perk. I'm 40 years old. I can't do that.
For me, I have no problem telling someone who offers that shit, nah, I don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah,
I don't got a problem with people who do, but I don't
attitude.
personally get into it. It's not worth it.
Do we ever into like hard drugs?
No, I've only ever been on weed and mushrooms. These days, ever since 2022, I do a yearly mushroom trip where I try to allow myself to reconnect with my inner self and remind myself who I am, kind of humble myself. But I try not to let that happen more than once a year because that's when you start getting into the addiction part of things. You don't want to get addicted to shit like that.
No, definitely.
Use it as the tool that it is, not the plaything you want it to be.
What year did your mom pass?
2019.
And how would you describe the effect that this had on you? Because I could tell she means a lot to you because you still mention her a lot and shit.
It's kind of hard for it to not affect you.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that I have not dealt with it in the healthiest of ways over the years. I've had to bump my head a lot. And I've really bumped my fucking head a few times on some concrete fucking pillars, I'll tell you what. But something I will say is I try to look at it more as a reminder of mortality, for sure, but also that I am alive and I am currently the last bit of physical DNA that woman has on this earth that will have any possibility to continue that legacy.
Yeah. So
now I just kind of think to myself, okay, you got to make sure this is something that stays on your mind so you don't fuck up. Because now if you fuck up, you're not just fucking yourself up. Now you're fucking your mother's legacy over and your father's because you're literally, for them, the last line. Both my mother and father, I'm the last of the LaFons. When it comes to my family, like the youngest man here, unless, you know, my grandma, or not my grandma, excuse me, my aunts, both my grandmothers passed away, but one of my aunts on my dad's side maybe had a kid, but I don't know that. I don't even know him. Most of my dad's family, like, never interacted with me and my mother that much.
Really?
I met one of my aunts on his side once, way back in the day. His two brothers, never met them, but I've recently kind of had a desire to try and reach out to them, but I wouldn't even know the start of the process to look for them. So I just kind of accepted, yeah, I'm just going to live my life.
Definitely. But I mean, like, what kind of stuff brings back memories of your mom? Like, what kind of stuff in your life makes you really miss her or really like focus in? Like, just for an example, my mom always tells me that anytime two people fall in love or get married or you know, someone's dating somebody new within our family or whatever, she always immediately thinks like she wants to reach out to my grandmother, her mom, and you know, that just kills her every time, that she just can't do it. And it's like that just still, after all these years, just comes back to haunt her a little bit.
So like I said, I've done a lot of maturing with this stuff, especially in recent times. There was a time where I looked at it with a lot of pain. And it's kind of natural when you lose someone that you got that close to, someone that, you know, at that point had been there for your absolute worst and then some. It obviously affects you. It obviously destroys you. But I've grown to a point now where anytime that I hit those moments where the memories hit and I start thinking to myself, oh, I wish I could call. Like, there have been plenty of fucking times after Rolling Loud and performances with Filthy and such, where after the show, I'm like, God damn, I want to call my mother and just, Mom, I just fucking did it. I fucking look at these photos, look at these clips. But instead of after my first Rolling Loud is when I first picked this up. After my first one, at first I was like, oh man, I wish I could call her. And I talked to one of my friends who was with me and I kept telling him, like, man, the only thing that sucks about tonight, because that was a wonderful show, was just, I can't call her. I can't tell her about it. I can't, you know, show my mother where I've come.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you know, you can't do it physically. And I can't remember the exact way he said it, but he said essentially, you can't do it physically, but you can do it through the way you work, through the way you act. So now anytime I have those moments where it feels like I want to cry because, oh my God, I can't, reach out and say hello or see how she's doing and shit. It's more so a moment to me go, yes, that's the reality. But there's also the reality that I know she'll be happy as long as I'm pushing on. And I shouldn't just sit there and be stuck in these emotions anymore. I got plenty of life to live.
For sure.
We've got tons of content planned coming out in the future. We've got things that, just they've been in the works for so long.
Yeah.
And we're just now getting some distance on some of this stuff that, I'm at a point where, anytime I'm thinking negative, I just think about that. Like, yeah, you're it. And it's not like, oh, you're it, boo-hoo. It's more like, you're it. Pull your bootstraps up and get to fucking work. And if you fuck up, admit you fucked up and move on in life,
No, for sure. Yeah, rest in peace, man. That's sad shit. Yeah. Okay, what's it like being at the point you're at where it's like it still feels like there's a steady flow of people who make documentaries about you, at least, like once a year or some shit. And some of these videos do like millions of views. And it's like, what's that feeling like knowing that people are still kind of using you for a character to make content about?
I don't care. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you see the numbers, sure, you get a little jealous, but at the end of the day, I don't care. Because the videos they're making, a lot of them don't get the info right. And it's like info that like a 10-minute Google search can be proven wrong. But,
Really?
a lot of people, they don't see that. But I try not to let it affect me because at the end of the day, like, people are going to talk their shit. People are going to hate you for a reason, no matter what. So I look at it as, okay, these guys are making content on me. Fuck them. I don't care. Fuck off. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to make my own content, stay in my fucking lane. You want to hate me? Go waste your time, waste your breath, waste your oxygen. That's what I say. Because at the end of the day, oxygen's a very finite resource, people. And if you really want to waste it doing that, you're just looking like the rich son of a bitch who goes out and buys a Wagyu steak just to go take a shit on it for some sort of viral video. That's what you look like. You look like a pompous prick when you sit there and waste your oxygen hating on someone when you could do something more constructive with your life.
Hating is one thing, but a lot of the stuff I see the stuff I watched at least, it seems a little bit more even keeled. Like they're not necessarily hating on you. They're more just like kind of fascinated with documenting your life.
Sure, but there's also been ones that have been way more on the hate side, and some that have even tried to be sneaky with it. There was a good chunk of time we were dealing with people trying to dox us and SWAT us, me and the crew. There was a chunk of time where we were just getting harassed left and right. And it took us a while to kind of realize how to deal with it and not have to deal with it, if that makes sense. We realized that the more we focus on the negativity, the more we focus on what other people think of us, the more that just fucks up our mojo and flow. So I don't pay attention to it anymore. I don't watch that shit because at the end of the day, like good or bad, it's just gonna end up sitting on my mind. So I might as well not have that on my mind and sitting there acting like some sort of filter for what I do when I want to be unapologetically myself and share my life with people.
Definitely.
And that's just me.
So when did you end up getting into the fish tank thing? It's called fish tank, right? The Sam Hyde shit?
Fish tank. Yeah. So that would have been 2023, if I'm remembering correctly. Again, my memory's fucking shitty sometimes, so I'm trying to remember the exact date, but I think it was around 2023. I was dealing with a situation, again, with swatting and people calling the police and calling my landlords up. It was a situation where I had to basically move. I was told by my landlord, you either have to move or everyone in that house has to move. And there was no option. There was no, tell me why this is happening. There was no, what is this type of phone call I'm getting? It's no, I'm getting phone calls of people threatening to firebomb my fucking car, and they're sending me photos of my fucking car. You got to move. You got to go.
Whoa.
And so I ended up being basically homeless. And my friend hits me up and he goes, yeah, you know that Sam Hyde guy, right? I go, yeah. He goes, he's looking for someone to go on the show. And like, if I can get you out here today, like you could be out there. And I was like, I got to figure out, my house situation right now. I got to figure out where my shit's going to go. And we had a buddy that ended up backstabbing me pretty hard that we paid. Mind you, paid him like $300 to watch my shit, pick it up, make sure it's all nice and packed right, because I couldn't make sure it was all done just perfectly.
And he just didn't do it?
He didn't do it. And then, like, I asked him, I literally said, do me a favor, I'm paying you. please make sure when you pick these up, give them a quick look over, open them up, make sure nothing's wrong. I had some laundry in there that was still wet. Something I didn't actually realize at the time would have been that bad. Because I was dealing with hand washing the shit at the time. I didn't really have a washing machine at that moment. And, you know, I put them in there and some of these clothing had gotten moldy. Well, the box that my parents' urns were in had gotten some of the mold on it, but not the fucking urns or the ashes. But this motherfucker took a photo of it, tried to make a video saying how they're moldy and shit. I got them at home now in nicer, newer urns. Ain't a fucking lick of mold in them ashes.
So he tried to expose you?
He tried to basically make it look like that I purposely tried to put them in a position to become moldy and nasty when it's no, I paid you motherfucker to please go pick my shit up. I said to him, pop the tops open when you pick them up. Make sure nothing is broken. There is microphones in this shit. There is PC parts in this shit before I left. And then, you know, I get my shit shipped to me. There's stuff missing. I find out, you know, he's made a video saying that. Didn't even tell me. He didn't even straight away tell me there was mold. So I don't give a fuck at this point. Like, I don't care about what people think of me. I'm living my life.
Right.
And I know what's true. I know what's not. And I don't have to prove myself to anyone anymore.
Okay, so f that dude. But,
I'm completely.
But then you fly out and get on the fish tank.
100%.
Where was it filmed?
I can't remember where the exact spot of season 1 was. I think it was like in the Rhode Island area somewhere. Okay. But like, season 1, that was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I've seen some wild clips of you on there.
No, I there was some very fucking crazy ass moments, and you know, I look back on it with a mix of there's a lot of lessons to take away from it, and there's also a lot of good to take away from it. So I take the good with the bad, and I continue to live my life.
How long were you actually there?
What was it, like 3-ish weeks, I want to say, maybe 4 tops. Okay. I was there for like the last half for damn sure.
And was it like hellish being there, or was it overall kind of enjoyable?
Oh my God. I went in there thinking, okay, I can handle this. This is no big deal. My buddy was hyping me up like, you got this, you got this. You spend the first like 4 days in there. It's like, okay, this is okay, kind of chill. And then there comes a point where you're in there and you're just kind of like, no, this is worse than a fucking trap house.
Really?
This is way fucking worse than a trap house.
Well, what's the tough part?
Just always the nastiness, the messiness of it with all the trash everywhere.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
That was the worst to me. Like I could take some pretty loud noises and screams. Like I said, you know, there comes a point where my battery gets full. But like at the end of the day, like I'm okay. I know I'm safe.
Right.
But the thing that was for me was just how dirty and filthy it was. Because like that's. To me, like I used to live in a filthy place, right? I used to not take care of my fucking place and myself. But nowadays, I try to keep shit clean.
Right.
Because, homie, that shit's, ooh.
But so it isn't like the viewers can like donate money to basically torture you.
No, they basically could.
On stream, right?
They would basically donate to have them come up and like, it went towards the show. You know what I'm saying? So it went towards the show, went towards taking care of the people, paying out everyone and everything else.
But give me an example of like how much, like if I spent $100, what could I potentially do to you on that live stream?
I never knew the exact pricing. I just knew what they were doing.
But what kind of stuff would they do to you?
So they would come in with all the trash that they had in bags and shit that we would have and just throw it all over like rip the bags open and just all over the place.
So some fan is watching this and he could spend $50 or whatever to just completely f your shit up.
The whole house. Or you could pay to have them come up and pour shit on you like jelly and nasty shit. Wow. They could pull up to the specific person and just right on them. You could,
and you can't get mad at the person doing it because they are basically
because
like
the shark
to.
Yes, 100%. There was at one point they had a specific one for a specific person who like didn't like yelling as much, and so they had a donation where like you could just send a person up to just randomly start yelling angrily at her for no reason.
Wow.
Like no joke. It was crazy. No, it's a great time though. That's the thing. Some of the most craziest shit you can be involved in will be some of the best memories you're ever gonna have. And let me tell you something. I've made a lot of mistakes in my past, but I've made a lot of memories that I will carry through in my life with smiles on my face.
Right. I've always thought about doing like a sleep stream type thing, but just the idea of like, I'm like very committed to getting a good night's sleep every night, and the idea of somebody being able to torture you while you're sleeping just sounds difficult to deal with.
You have to hate yourself to do those kind of like, to be honest, it's gotten harder for me to do fish tank these days because I've done so much maturing, and I've to a point now where it's like, yeah, I don't want to be the crazy kid anymore. I want to be the crazy kid that produces great content.
Right.
But no, I still love going on though, because I could play up my character and do what I want. But season 1 was probably, I think, when it comes to intensity, the most craziest one out of all of them.
Have you gone on other ones as well?
Yes, I've been on season 1, 2, 2.5, and 3.
Wow.
You can see kind of my evolution throughout the seasons, even though there's still some regards that I'm fucking like a woodpecker smacking my head against the wood, but there's other regards where I've grown.
But do they, like, how much can you expect to make when you go on there?
I don't want to talk about the specifics, all right, man? Because
you're not exactly getting rich off it.
I take care of what I need to.
It's a little something.
Yeah, it takes care of it. They take care of the crew. They take care of you.
Okay.
This isn't a situation where I like to talk about the specifics like that, because at the end of the day, they take care of you, and you shouldn't be upset if you're getting taken care of.
What's your overall impression of Sam Hyde?
He's a character and a half for damn sure. I think there's a lot of pre-notions and pre-assumptions people have about him. But I think once you get to know him, you realize he's completely different from the character that he plays on camera.
Right, and people online love to call him a Nazi and shit.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Feels like that's kind of overblown, right?
Well, don't get me wrong, right? He's made some jokes in the past, but those are all jokes. It's comedy. Comedy is, to an extent, right? Not that all comedy is, but to an extent, comedy is insulting.
Right.
Comedy is making jokes on things that are stupid or fucking ridiculous. Something I hate that we've abandoned is the comedy of the stereotype. Right. The reason stereotypes exist
because they got rid of Apu.
Well, not even just that. It's just the general attitude towards stereotypes is changed. To me, though, like a stereotype is something that we point out as a stupid belief. Not even that is a stupid person, but that is stupid to believe that that specific kind of person represents that specific kind of like place, person, or action a person does.
Right. Because like I have a puppet over there, like a black cop puppet.
Yeah.
And I pull him out on the stream the other day, and I said, "Oh, Officer Jamal is here," and it's like, the hosts are kind of looking at me like, "Oh." And it's like, bro, I'm not going to have a black cop puppet and not name him a stereotypical black name. Like,
well, yeah,
it's got to be a fucking name
but
like that.
It's for comedy, though. And I do say it's to an extent because there comes a point, right, where someone makes a joke, and at first it's well-meaning. But then the joke goes on too long, or the wording is done in such a way that it makes it not sound like a joke. And I've had that told to me a couple of times in the past.
Right.
I've had some people damn near earn a punch in the face from me because they've said something and they meant something completely different than what I interpreted.
Right. You were talking about getting your hygiene together, or you're keeping your living space clean, or whatever.
Hygiene in general, even just
right. Because I did see a clip from the fish tank thing where they hired a African-American prostitute, and that at one point she's about to do something with you, and then she says you smell too disgusting for her to. I was wondering if that was scripted at all.
That's not scripted, but that's not the situation. It wasn't necessarily the smell. That's the thing, right? It wasn't necessarily the smell. What it was is at the time I was wearing a really old pair of shorts I had. Now these shorts were maybe 5-6 years old at this point. And they were shorts that I wore regularly airsofting, slitting in dirt, clay, shit like that. It's going to stain up, right?
Right.
Being a big guy, when I slide, I'm not sliding on my knees. I'm falling on my ass and sliding into cover. So of course it's, over time it's going to get deep into the clothing and it's going to stain. And a lot of the times I'm wearing those same shorts 2 days in a row when I'm airsofting, because every time I went airsofting was a weekend thing. So a lot of the time I would play for Saturday, go eat Subway footlong for dinner, park out in a fucking carpool lane, pass out for the night, wake back up by 6 a.m., go to McDonald's, get a breakfast, and get to the field by like 8, 9 while they're opening.
I respect it.
No, I loved it.
So you didn't smell bad. It was just the shorts.
I can imagine there might have been quite a smell considering the condition of the house and how things have been, and the fact that I wasn't as cleanly conscious as I am now.
Right.
And even nowadays, there are times where like I'll get done with a workout and I'll be lazy and be like, "Oh, I don't want to take a shower." And then when my friends come over, they're like, "Dude, you smell like ash. You don't smell that?" I'm like, I mean, I just got done working out an hour ago. Did you shower? No, I didn't feel like it. You're like, nah, you got to get in the shower, dude. You smell like complete ass.
Right.
And so, like, a lot of the times there is moments where, like, yeah, I don't realize it right away. But I've gotten to a point now where 99% of the time I'm coming out, I'm pretty damn presentable. I'm no longer that fucking 500-pound kid that smells like rotted gravy and fucking nasty ass Cheetos from 30 years ago.
Because I mean, I've gotten some shit on the channel by our audience over the years because I personally don't feel the need to shower every day. Now, granted, if I'm going to come on here, I'm going to shower. Every time I come to do podcasts, I take a shower right beforehand. And I always work out in the morning too. So it's like every day I take a shower. But on the weekends, it's like it's Saturday fucking morning and I know I'm just going to be bumming around the house all day, hanging out with my family or whatever. I don't give a fuck about taking a shower on a day like that. The glasses are coming out. This is you.
My friend.
Even Airsoft.
That is straight up fucking disgusting. Okay?
Not showering for one day?
Yes.
What?
I can't go without a shower more than a day without getting depressed. And I mean straight up clinically depressed.
You had a prostitute turn you down because you smelled so bad. I've never had that.
It was the stains of the shorts because she thought that prostitute thought I'd shit my pants. That's what she fucking thought.
Right. Well, I mean, if she thought you shit your pants and you didn't shit your pants, chances are your hygiene was fucked.
All right, we'll just agree to disagree.
No, by all means, it is a reasonable opinion. A lot of people are committed to showering twice a day. My wife actually gets on my case because I will do whatever I'm doing all day and then I won't take a shower before bed. I don't give a fuck. That to me is such a waste of a shower.
I can't do that. See, as a fat guy, right? We can't go a day without showering because we stink like shit, man. Really? Our sweat gets stuck on our fat and shit. Yeah. So like, we have to shower every day. Okay. And for me, if I'm only taking one shower that day, I'm getting it right after the fucking workout. I'll feel gross at a time when I want to hate myself and push myself past my limit. And then I'll take that fucking shower and then 45 minutes later be live on Twitch relaxing. And that's the way I do it these days. I go work out. I do my 7 miles. I get my 5 sets of each in. Pretty soon those are going to go up to 10 miles and 10 sets of each. And from there, I just go live over on Twitch, smoke for a bit, chat with the people. Maybe I play a game. Maybe I sing some music. Maybe I spin the Beyblades a bit.
Just so you know, I've never felt less hygienic than this moment with you telling me that I'm not hygienic enough.
And that's got to feel even more shocking coming from a dude who's still like fat. Yeah. And still should be the guy who stinks the worst. Like, bro, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand that you are in a unique situation where you have a lot of roles to take care of. Well, not only
that, but even at your size, like I would be showering every day, at least once a day. Like I could not, regardless of my size in the future, I cannot foresee a day in my life where I wake up and I think to myself, yeah, no shower today. Because even on the days where I'm
it's a waste.
100%. But like, then there are those days where I'm like, oh, I want to skip it. I still do it. Yeah. Even if my friends don't come over and say it, by that night, by that time I'm going to bed, I'm like, no, I feel disgusting. I feel gross. The sweat on my body is still on my body. And I'm going to lay down in my bed like this. I'm going to treat my body like this. No.
I think part of it is that I think I smell fucking great, even when I haven't showered in a day or two. I like my musk.
You've got to become afraid of your own like filth. That's the thing.
But the difference between me and you is that like you're like an alcoholic where alcohol was ruining his life. But in this example, it's not alcohol, it's a hygiene. Whereas I feel like I haven't really got to the point where it was like fucking up my life.
I mean, maybe it's fucking your life up and you just don't realize it yet. Let me ask you this.
Are those like the truth goggles? You're going to put those on when you're ready to get real with me?
I'm about to hit you with a real hard truth here.
Truth bomb.
I mean, you say you're a taken man, right? Well, hygiene does take a big part in a relationship. Let me ask you this. Have you been keeping the same frequency of lovemaking as you made with her, or has she gotten bored with you or tired of the smell?
You're saying that I could get laid a little bit more if I were to shower a little bit more.
I'm going to take my goggles off for this one because
I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. I'm going to be real. I got to stick to my principles.
Let me tell you something. The lady that I dated for 4 years, if I skipped a single shower, she would tell me, you ain't getting no head tonight. You ain't even touching these pearly gates until you've taken a shower, Christopher, because you ain't fucking making my ass filthy with your own.
Yeah.
The nights that the nights that I decided not to, she slept in the other room.
Wow.
Because we had like a guest room. So like any night that I was like back then I didn't realize it, right? I was like you where it's like, okay, there are days and weeks that I'm not going to fucking shower.
Right.
But it got to a point where she literally would say like, okay, you didn't shower today. We're not fucking. And you better not be expecting cuddles because I'm going to be sleeping in the guest room until you really take it. No, she would do that. I kid you not. There were nights we would get into a fight and I would sit there and like argument, not fight, but like an argument. And I'd be like, there's no fucking way that you're dumb enough to actually go lay down in that fucking bed and not come cuddle up with the guy you fell in love with for the past 3 years.
And then she's sorry.
She's like, no, she said, okay, fuck you then, and would walk right to the guest room and go lay down.
Wow.
And then an hour later.
And that wasn't enough to make you take a shower?
No, an hour later, I'd usually be sitting there alone, just kind of like.
You got to give up on your principles. Get some.
I got to swallow my pride. I got to fucking take a shower.
Right.
Well, you got to think it's the only chunk of time in my life where I was consistently getting some pussy. Like, you kind of have to make sure you're a clean-shaven guy for her, you know?
Yeah, you want to keep her happy. I mean, there's been days where I shower at 9 a.m. and then me and her have a porn scene at 5 p.m. Me, her, and another girl, and she'll kind of tell me after the scene, and keep in mind that's 8 hours after the shower, and she'll tell me your balls taste like piss, and that.
So you're a bit of a man whore, not really a husband per se.
Well, I'm a husband and a man whore.
Well, I mean, if you're a husband, you're staying solely to her, but clearly you're not.
We only fuck around on camera.
See, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's on camera or not. You're still fucking around with other people.
For
to
us,
me,
it matters.
That's the principal thing for me. For me, it matters. You know, don't be afraid to accept that moniker. Be a man-ho. Man-hos have fucking great lives, happy lives, and great ones. I can imagine you're a fucking happy dude when you're sitting there having a good time, but don't deny the fact you're a man whore.
And your balls taste like piss.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And most man whores do not have good tasting balls. And I have a friend of mine here who knows about that personally, let me tell you. But let me tell you something,
You know about the taste of your friend's balls?
No, but he happens to know the taste of people's, and my friend's bi, okay?
Oh.
So, yes.
So he might have a shit from time to time.
We've literally joked about shit like this before. He's joked about some shit dick and all that before. Like, right. But let me tell you something, man, all right? Be a man whore. Be happy to be a man whore.
Get shit
Because
dick.
At the end of the... Hey, if that's the side effect, I get it.
A true man whore doesn't discriminate. Man, female, obese, in shape, don't care.
No, not even just that. It's just have fun. Yeah. If you're enjoying sex, then, just say it. I'm a man whore.
Is you?
I'm a connected man whore.
He's the bi one?
Yes.
So your only black friend is also a bisexual man whore?
He's not my only black friend. Wow, that's kind of racist for you to assume.
Oh, you got 3 people.
I didn't know I was sitting here being interviewed by Robert E. Lee.
And you've been having him fucking stand up the whole time, even though there's a chair right there, man.
Yeah, man.
You could use that chair. He took his shoes off, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my buddy Bert there, man. He is a character and a half, I tell you what.
He's got some good, expressions on his face. Like, if he had been sitting next to you the whole time, it might have been a funnier interview.
I mean,
maybe next time. Look,
the guest usually has to make jokes based on what his host is talking about. So I don't know if him being involved would have made this funnier if you couldn't.
Well, I'm never going to confide in a guest about my lack of hygiene again, because Airsoft Fatty is just laid waste to me.
I'm autistic. I don't hold back. I'm going to tell you like it is, and man, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to say you're a man, suck it up, buttercup, and take that shower every day.
Take that shower. I mean, it is like 5 minutes, and it's not really.
It's not even 5. For me, it's barely even 15. As a bigger guy that's got more to work with, it doesn't even take me 15 minutes.
15
a fast shower takes me 12. That includes drying. So it doesn't take you fucking long.
When I'm playing poker, sometimes there's a 5-minute break at the end of every hour that everybody gets to step away from their keyboard. So
take the shower then.
I know I can take a shower in 5 minutes and not much less. Sometimes
100%.
4, but it's tough to get lower than 5.
Then that's what you need to fucking do, my man. Be a clean man whore if you're gonna be a man whore, okay? But don't be saying you a husband now because you might have the ring. No, straight.
Never tried it?
No.
Never sucked a dick?
I've never sucked a dick. No. I'm not. So no. Okay, let me say this. Okay.
Okay.
I do have one gay experience from my childhood. Okay, but it wasn't like you're thinking where there was kissing or anything like that.
No, I'm thinking you got molested.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, not at fucking all. Allow me to explain, and you will look at this in a completely different light.
Okay.
So in middle school, all right, I was a fairly awkward kid. Just losing your father, just the year prior, you really don't have a lot of friends. But there was this kid named Zach, and like me, he was in advanced science and math. And we loved robotics, absolutely loved it.
Okay.
And he was a blazingly, ragingly gay man. He wasn't bi like my other friend here. He was like straight up ragingly gay.
Raging.
he had a crush on me. I'm not even kidding. And you're probably thinking, oh, he just read into it. No, this dude would literally come up to me in the morning, and like scrub something off my face, and go, Chris, you got to keep yourself good, man. What are you doing?
That could just be a good bud.
No, because like he multiple times admitted that he was in love. Like he straight up said, he would make jokes like, what's funny is like if you were gay, honestly, I would date you every second of the day type shit.
What age are we talking about here?
We would have been about 13.
Okay.
This would have been around the time that I just got like my moped license, because one of the first big things I did with that moped is he ended up having to move because his family had passed away. He had to leave state.
Whoa.
I was basically never going to hear from him again. I known that for the past year and a half, 2 years at this point, he had a major crush on me.
Mm-hmm.
I came up to him and I said, look, Zach, I'm not gay.
But I'm going to give you some pussy.
You are my best fucking friend.
Right, okay.
You have been here for me in this school when I've hated every moment being here.
Uh-huh.
I want to do something big for you before you leave. Why don't I take you on a date tonight?
Okay.
I took him to see a movie. I can't even remember which one it was. But we just saw a fucking movie. We had some dinner. And when I dropped him off, all right, I wanted to give him the full experience, right? I wanted to be the guy that be like, yeah, I'm going to give you your kiss, right? I went to try to kiss him and we didn't even get close. I pulled back. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, dude. I don't want you to feel offended or anything. It's just, this isn't me. He looked at me and said, Chris, I could tell this isn't you. I could tell this was a lot for you to do.
Wow.
And I am not upset. I am not hurt you wouldn't kiss me. I am ecstatic because you have given me the dream day that I have always wanted for the past 2 years. This is something I'm going to remember.
Uh-huh.
And what's funny, I thought I'd never see him again. 2022, before I finally got out of Battle Creek, I randomly saw him at the gas station when he finally came back to town.
Wow.
And dude, like he's like really, he used to be like a zip pimple Phil, like typical nerd. He's clean shaven. He's got a good jawline. He's fucking wearing. He's a big business guy now.
Okay, but let's say hypothetically there was a woman who was in love with me, and I wasn't interested because she's disgusting or whatever. If I take her on a date and like kind of tease the idea that I might be into her, I mean, that's not going to make her feel better. It's going to make her feel worse. Like, if anything, I should not give her anything.
I feel like you've completely misinterpreted what I'm saying here, brother.
I think you gave him blue balls.
No, you know what happened?
You're a cock tease.
No, you know what happened? I had a friend that had been friends with me for nearly 2 years, one of my best friends, someone that I knew I'd probably never be able to kiss. I knew I could never get romantic with like that. But I knew that at the very least, the one thing he wanted to do was share the idea of a date with a person that he loves.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I can swallow my pride as a man for a day, and I can be there for the very person that has been here for me the past 2 years. Every time I've been getting bullied, he literally comes up and is like, yo, dude, f*** right off. Like, he was the nerdy kid that wasn't afraid to step up and be like, yo, f*** off, leave him alone, get the f*** out of here. Of course, they always started ripping into him for being gay and shit. But at the same time, the both of us are like, yeah, f*** off. So what? He's gay. Yeah, f*** up. So what if he's autistic and likes this shit? So what if he's gay? Does that make him any different? No. We cared for each other like brothers. And it was one of those moments that I felt good because I could give him something that maybe it wasn't exactly what he wanted, right? But it was something that I could prove just how much his friendship meant to me back then. And if you're seeing this, Zach, if you're seeing this one last time, dude, I still feel bad that I couldn't give you that kiss because it wasn't me, bro. It just wasn't me. I'm straight, bro. I can't help it. I love me a good bit of dark chocolate. I can't help it.
Oh, so it's a black guy.
No, black girl.
Oh.
I dated a black woman for 4 fucking years, dude.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's dope. I'd like to see her.
Yeah, not happening, brother.
You got any sex tapes floating around? No?
No. Actually, surprisingly enough, I've only ever had one nude. And someone tried to blackmail me with that. So when I went on Fish Tank Season 1, I went full naked live. Just so I could be like, fuck you, you don't get to have that fucking pleasure.
That'll show them.
And then for like the first 2 seasons, I did that. And then 2.5, I finally said, nah, I gotta quit just being naked. At this point, that's just all I'm being known for. Is just getting naked.
Yeah.
And like for me, the nudity is like a spiritual thing. It should never be a thing that becomes weird. And when it became weird, it was like, maybe I'll just practice my spiritual stuff at home.
Right. Okay. I've had a mental image ever since I realized that I was going to interview you. I had a mental image floating around in my head, and you just name your price of how many dollars you would need in order to do the thing that I'm about to name.
Shoot.
69 with Dave Blunts.
What? Hold up 1 second.
It's just a mental image
Someone
that I've had.
throw me a fucking lighter for a second. I'll answer him, but I need a fucking hit off this shit. Someone better throw me a damn lighter and quick, man. Fire your finger.
I don't have a lighter.
Fucking teeth.
So that's mostly a no, though.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, right?
You've lost a lot of weight, so it would be less jarring than what I was originally thinking.
Here's my thing, right? To do something like that, the question would be, is it to completion, or is it
always to completion?
Or is it just for a moment? If it's to completion, that changes every last thing.
What if it was like an artistic photo shoot?
Artistic, gay,
Dave, I'm sorry for involving
photo.
you in this.
You know what, Dave Blunts, me and you need to make some funny shit together, whether or not it's whatever the fuck this guy's talking about or not. But let me hit this shit real quick before I talk about this, because let me tell you something, man.
Dave Blunts really, like, in almost every song, makes it clear that he's not gay, which maybe is part of why I thought of this.
Let me tell you something, okay?
Okay.
If we're talking to completion, okay, that is going to drastically change things. There are going to be stipulations. And the only reason I would even consider this is that the fact is that if I did something like this and I got the price I'd name, I could set me and my homies up for life to never have to fucking work again. And I've already...
So you want life-changing money?
Yes, because you're asking me to do something that is so...
I might be out. Then.
No, here's the thing, right? You're asking me to do something that is so fucking drastic. That's life-changing to me and experience.
Okay.
You want me to do something that's going to change my life and my view on life? Then you better damn well be able to supply me with the life-changing money that I'm going to expect, okay? So if you wanted something like that with Dave Blunts, I would need...
Sorry, Dave. Sorry.
$5 million.
$5 million. Wow.
$5 million.
To face Dave Blunts.
$5 million to completion.
Jesus Christ.
However, if it only has to go in the mouth for a moment, $200,000. Because
there's
as
all
embarrassing
kinds of crypto kids out. Like there could be a crypto meme coin associated with this.
No, that. Now that you bring up those stupid crypto kids that are making all this money, $1 million. There you go. That.
All right.
Now I'm sitting there thinking about it. $200K. No, that's fucking cheap.
Yeah.
There are whores out there that'll do it for $2. I ain't that $2 whore. $100 million. He goes in for a second. $25 million. Completion.
25 million. No, we just
we're jacking prices. No, we're jacking prices up. No, now that I'm sitting here saying shit out loud, like saying 200,000 out loud, I'm like, no, what the?
The Dave Blunts Airsoft Fatty 69 meme coin. That's a pretty good coin.
I don't care. If it's a life-changing, you're asking me to do something that's life-changing regardless.
It would change your life.
Exactly.
And his.
And it would scar me.
Yeah.
I would be scarred. I would not, be walking away from that a happy camper. So I'm going to make sure that if I'm getting scarred, that money's going to last as long as that scar's there.
I respect that. Yeah, for sure.
I value myself. I value my life. I've come to enjoy the fact that I'm alive. And, I live a life where I don't value... It's not that I don't value money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that I don't make that my main focus. Whenever I'm making content, it's about making people smile, inspiring people to do better. It's why I do these workout streams, where every time I'm literally telling people, hey, you got something you want to change in your life? You want to study more? You want to work harder? You want to work out with me? Do it. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
I do this to inspire because I was that guy as a young man who didn't really have much of an inspiration.
For sure. How's the On Some Shit pre-roll hitting? In stores now. Tap inwardly.
I'll admit, it's got a nice even burn.
Hash hole.
Oh, yeah. It's not bad. It's
Blue
not
papaya.
Bad.
2 grams of OG in there. Wow.
It's not bad for sure. It's got a good airflow to it. A nice clean hit.
Yeah.
Flavor is very potent.
Okay.
As for the first few hits, it's definitely a relaxer for sure.
Okay.
It's definitely something I could see you smoke this whole thing. You could take a good nap with it.
Probably got 50,000 milligrams in it. Specifically for you.
I will never do 50,000.
Nah.
See, like I said back then, I was all about trying to become the world's most world record breaking stoner. And nowadays I'm like, as a kid, that looks cool. But as an adult with a life and with shit you have to do, you look at that and you're like, damn, well, you do that, you just can't do shit at all.
No, yeah, that's a fact. Okay, so what do you got coming up? What should people keep an eye out for, aside from this Rolling Loud performance that people will probably have seen by the time this comes out? And people are going to be like, oh, you only interviewed him because whatever. Assuming you actually are on stage with Carti.
I'm going to put this like this, okay? Besides our Sunday performance, which is guaranteed to be one of the best we've ever put on for you guys, we've got a bunch of other collabs coming up. We'll be linking up with Churdley's later this week. To have
Shout
some
out
fun.
Churdley's, great American.
But yeah, I've got a lot of friends. I can never remember the new name. I'm always going to remember him as Scumbag Dad, but he's the guy that used to do the videos where he's like, hey son, today we're gonna go give some cookies to a friend, and it's usually like a drug deal that they're fucking doing type of thing.
Oh, okay.
He got real big on shorts and TikTok. I love his stuff. I have a hard time remembering the new name because I still remember him from the scumbag dad phase. But even today, that shit still matches that energy and just is funny as hell. So I'm hoping to be able to link up with him this week as well, get some stuff done, because we've done videos in the past and they've been bangers. Absolute bangers.
Wow. Okay. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Thanks for coming in. I'm very happy that we got some insight into Airsoft Patty. We got some sentimental, heartfelt moments. We got some shocking, gross out moments.
Oh yeah.
I learned something about my own hygiene.
Yeah, and
might need to up it.
I'm serious though, bro. Really, really consider doing a once-a-day shower, even on the weekends. Even because I'm telling you, if you're having a tough day, a nice warm shower really helps you wake up.
Right.
And if you're feeling sluggish, a cold shower wakes you up.
I don't know if I can do a cold shower, but
you wait a real minute if you can't do a cold shower at least once a week.
Really?
Well, I take a nice cold one every fucking week, at least once a week, because what it does is it helps your metabolism out.
Okay.
And it kind of fucking shocks you a bit, and it kind of gives you that like, like you just came out of the water nearly drowning feeling.
Right. They do the ice bath now. I did one of those a couple months ago.
They're nice and relaxing after a good workout, but if you just jump into it, not have exerting your body like that and needing it, you're gonna hate it.
It was honestly not that bad. It was like really shocking at first, and then once I got in there,
now divers who are in the Arctic experience way worse. Trust me.
Yeah, probably true.
If you went and dived in the waters of the Titanic when it sunk, you would not have lasted 2 minutes.
I mean, I've swum underwater like 10, 15 feet, and it feels like the pressure on my head is so bad that it's like I can't imagine people who go that deep.
Yeah, and I've actually got like, I'm going to tease this really quick. I'm going to be working on relearning some diving because of the fact that like I used to have a dream where I wanted to be an underwater photographer. I gave that up, mainly because I listened to some pieces of shit in my life. But that's when I found YouTube and found a love that I found even greater at the time. And now I'm at a point where I'm healthy. So I'm going to start learning to dive again. And eventually I am going to get back into diving. And let me tell you something. I don't blame you for feeling that way when you're getting under 10 feet. But trust me, there are people who go over 100 feet deep. And that shit really, like, I've went down in a personal one where I've done 30 feet. And let me tell you, you think 10 feet's bad. 30's way fucking worse.
But do you get used to it if you do that over and over?
Yes, you got to do it over and over. I only did it for so long, and now that it's been years since I've done it, that extremely.
Start from scratch, kind of.
I basically got to start from scratch. Like I'm doing, I'll be doing free diving during the summer, just when I can to kind of practice. And that's the art of diving without an oxygen tank and just using the air in your lungs. And I know I'm gonna suck at first. Probably only get like 10-second dives in, but
yeah,
I want a goal. I want to set the goal that by the end of summer I can get down to 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And then once next summer comes, I want to get to 1 minute and 20 seconds underwater.
I believe in you. Airsoft Fatty, I appreciate you coming through, man. Good conversation. And everybody tap in.
Hell yeah. Make sure to check it out. Live every day on Twitch. Live every day on YouTube. Obviously, this week we're a little busy, caught up. I'm still trying to figure out a mobile setup, so we got some good streams coming to you while we're on the road. Otherwise, you can find me over on YouTube, same old name, and we're always producing good content for you. Till then, see you guys later.
That way. No Jumper, coolest podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. We out.